Hello and welcome back to Dash 28 Live. I'm your host, Mike Adkins, and today we're bringing you another fourth round match from Call to Arms 6. This time we have Eric Schaefer and Tom Annis. Welcome, guys.
Hi, how are you?
Hello.
And joining me to cover the game, we've got Jeremy Duvall, Matt Carmack, and Steve Forster. Hey, guys.
Hello.
Thanks for being here. Always nice to have fun folks to hang out with. Without any further ado, you guys are going to be playing Push at 2,300 points on the standard map for the round. So let's check out the lists that you're going to be playing. All right. So up first, we got Eric's Empire of Dust.
Yeah.
Eric, could you walk us through your list, please?
Welcome to Grindtown. This is a real simple list. I got a horde of spear boys, regiment of spear boys, 3 mummies, 1 with sharpness, 1 with strength, soul snare. I have a pharaoh on a chariot that has brew of haste. I spent all the points that I possibly can spend on this guy. Brew of haste with alchemist curse level 4. He's expensive, but I needed him to be doing things even when he's not in combat. I brought a pharaoh who has the Shroud of the Saint for a little heal, and the elite aura that gives into all these. I got a Curse High Priest with a heal, and then Veil of Shadows 3. I wish I could get 4, but can't fit it in. And Apothis and Showbeck. Lean and mean, and pretty simple.
Yeah, that's 11 drops and 19 unit strength. But you guys are playing Push, so total amount of unit strength maybe doesn't matter all that much. But yeah, that's a very mean and lean list. All right, now let's pop over and take a look at Tom's halflings.
All right.
Tom, could you walk through your list, please?
Yeah, so mine's pretty much the opposite of Eric's. Going for all the drops, a lot of little regiments and monsters and things, backed up by 4 aeronauts and 2 iron beasts. So, I have 2 brave regiments, 3 halfling rifle regiments, and you'll see in a second I just deploy those all kind of together so they could ideally shoot at the same target. Doesn't always work out like that, but that's the plan. 3 edge grenadiers just to add that brutal D3 to as many combats as I can, which I'm going to need against this list with all the high defense. And then the meat of the list is the 4 aeronauts with Blade of Slashing and Blessing of the Gods. So just trying to reroll those 1s into a blast D3. Hopefully get some good rolls. 2 Iron Beasts. Usually the idea is these guys combine their 18-inch shooting with the rifles, again, all on the same target. Just a lot of different shooting units comboing their shooting. And they also have a spell word aura. So one of the weaknesses of the aeronauts is that they're pretty easy to shoot. So I try to deploy them around the Iron Beasts to get that aura. 2 engineers with all the stuff, the long rifles, wild charge aura, and radiance of life, since everything in my list except for the Braves has the tinker keyword, works out pretty well. And then I usually take 3 engineers. In this one I'm just trying something different, just a Feastmaster with the Trickster's Wand. So that's my list.
That's your list, and that is 17 drops and 26 unit strength. So yeah, that is 6 more drops than Eric's list?
I was slightly outdropped in this.
Slightly outdropped. All right. Cool. Thanks for walking us through your list, guys. Now let's hop over to your UB room and talk about your deployments. So this is the standard map for this round.
And we actually rolled this one off. I don't think there was a standard map for each round.
Okay, so you guys picked this one.
Yeah.
At random.
Yep.
Okay.
The first one didn't look too good. There was like 2 hills right in the middle. There was all this other crazy stuff. So we re-rolled it.
Okay. That's cool. And so it looks like you guys have a heights labeled on all of them right now?
Yep.
Okay. So over here on the right, the ruins over here are flat terrain. and flat terrain in the center top. Okay, cool. And you guys are playing, like we said, you're playing push, and you guys are using these red markers for the push tokens, it looks like.
Correct.
Okay. And looks like Tom is on the top of the table and Eric is on the bottom. So, Tom, could you walk us through your deployment starting over on the left?
Yep. So on the left is just some edge grenadiers, and behind them are, I think, those are my elite aeronauts. Have the Feastmaster tucked in there next to a Brave regiment. So I kind of deployed all those together just across from his big, scary, fast stuff. And then in the center, have a halfling rifle regiment, and then an aeronaut behind that, a beast. Oh, I guess an engineer there, giving inspiring to that half of my little formation. Then I have an iron beast, halfling rifle, aeronaut behind it, and then beast, engineer there in the terrain, and then halfling rifle. There's an edge grenadier. That was my last drop. I wasn't quite sure where to put it, so I just kind of did center. And then aeronaut behind the woods, and an edge grenadier. And then Eric was done dropping at 11, and I still had 6 more drops, and all of his fast stuff was over on the side. So I went with, I think what a lot of people do is just put a junk regiment on the side and give it all the tokens. So that's a Braves regiment with my 2 push tokens.
All right. We'll see if that pays off for you. And then down here on the bottom, you've got Eric's Empire Dust.
I have my Pharaoh and Chariot. It does say sword there, but he actually has haste. Have the Regiment of Spears, then a Pothos, the Horde of Spears. In behind there is the Cursed Pharaoh, Soul Snare, Shobek holding 2 tokens, and then Elite Mummies, Sharpness Mummies, Strength Mummies, regular Mummies, and the Pharaoh in behind.
Pharaoh in behind. All right, great. Well, thanks so much for walking us through that, guys. Good luck to both of you.
Good luck.
Have fun. We will see you guys back after your first and third turns for a little quick check-in, and otherwise we'll see you both back here at the end of the game. So good luck and have fun.
Sounds good. See you guys.
Yeah, good luck, fellas.
Good luck.
All right. So let's bring up their clock. They are about to go. I don't think any of these guys have scout.
No scout.
No scouts.
Mm-hmm.
None of these halfling scout. These are not the scouting halflings. Definitely nothing in Empire does.
No.
All right. So what do we think? So clearly Tom has his eggs in one basket all the way over there on the right, and he's hoping to just sneak them down and hide them behind terrain and intercept stuff with his flying stuff. And Eric's just going right down the middle with Shobek to try to get that 3rd token and just hold on to it. How you guys liking the deployments?
Well, I mean, that's sort of the classic move, right? And when you can outdrop your opponent this much, you put that unit of zombies or the unit of braves or whatever on the side. And I think in this matchup, it's especially good just because the fast stuff is, like Tom said, on the left. So I just don't see those mummies getting over there. So I think it's right what Eric said is a battle for that middle token. I wouldn't be surprised that that's.
And Eric has one. I guess Eric should go first. It looks like Tom won the roll, but he's letting him go first.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Well, he's got all the halfling rifles. I guess he's figuring to let him walk into range.
I guess, yeah.
And I mean, Empire of the Dust is slower, so you don't have to worry about things moving at the double too, right? I guess as far as usually you want to get to that center token first.
Yep.
I don't think he wants Shobek to get that token uncontested.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you could just be like, I'm just going to move Shobek backwards.
Right.
And deal with 3 mummy regiments and a skeleton spearman horde with
right
backup with heal 8 and soul snare.
Yeah, but the problem with that is that then those tokens are only worth 3 points if they're still on your side of the table.
Yeah, you do have to get him across, which is a thing. Which, you know, even if he gets those 3 tokens, if Tom can bar him from getting onto his board side and he gets his 2 across, it's 4-3.
Yeah, the risk with this, and I'm not sure I agree with Tom going first here, or Tom taking second rather, is that leaving that unit so exposed. Like, yeah, the fast stuff started on the left side of the table, but it only takes one turn for Pappy to put 20 inches between where he is now and the right side of the board, and he could be on top of that unit in 2 turns, realistically. And probably kill it on his own because it's not particularly hefty on the nerve. It's only a 12-14, I believe, and with Cloak of Death, that's going to become a 9-11 being smacked in the face by a dragon.
Right.
So even a front charge has a very high chance of just popping that and stealing the tokens. I actually don't agree with Tom putting it all the way on the right. I think that's kind of one of those things that you ingrain into your brain where you're just like, this is a good play and I want to do this. But I think here it presents a lot of risk where like normally the EOD doesn't want to break formation, but I don't think the EOD is under a whole lot of pressure. I don't think there's enough shooting on that side of the table to really staple him down, especially with Shobek Iron Resolve, Region on like half of the damn army, heal coming from Shobek, the Soul Snare in reserve. Hex is going to be huge this game to see where that ends up going, whether or not that's on Pappy, the Soul Snare. I think Shobek will be the least likely target.
Yeah. I mean, the Pharaoh with the Shroud of the Saint, if you're trying to shut down heal.
I suspect, yeah. Soul Snare is the big one.
Yeah.
Probably.
Is that not the ability to stop it from moving and scooting is extremely limiting to why it's normally so good.
And that's really a lot of the aspect of Hex people sometimes forget about, right? Which is when you're Hex, not only is there the damage component, but there's the you cannot move and cast component.
Yeah.
Which can be devastating sometimes.
Oh,
so.
Yeah. And Eric's list doesn't really have any other shooting type of threat really other than the Soul Snare. I mean, he's got short range stuff.
Yeah, because I think Apathis has.
He's got Drain Life
7.
Drain Life 7, yeah, and
but that's
Pharaoh.
Not. Yeah, but that's not.
The Pharaoh on the Chariot.
6-inch.
Yeah, the Pharaoh on the Chariot has Alchemist Curse, but like none of them are going to threaten anything long range.
Yeah.
Now, what Matt brings up is interesting. The idea that if you're Eric and you're saying, I'm just going to Pappy's one job now is to go kill those Braves.
Mm-hmm.
That is, could be an interesting play, right? Where you take 2 turns to get over there, or 2 or 3 turns to get into combat, and then there's going to be enough time in the game to kill that unit. But I don't know. It's sometimes when you're playing against this, there's the sort of the age-old adage, like what Matt said of just put it on the corner and march it forward. And the other side of that is I'm not even going to bother. I'll just let him have those 2 tokens, and I'm going to focus all my energy into picking up the middle one, right? Yeah. Whereas that's the other side of that coin of let me just put it on the corner and march it up. Is okay, well, fine, you can have it. I'm not going to try to take it from you. So it'll be interesting to see if Eric.
We're gonna box over this center token.
Yeah, if he's
that's
just
gonna win the game.
You know what? I'm going to put my defense 5. I'm going to put Shobek in the middle of the board, and I have confidence that I'll get that token and not even worry about the other 2. So I'm curious to see if that's how he decides to play it and just gives that to Tom.
Yeah. Just to be clear, I think with how compact Eric's list is, with only effectively 10 fighting drops, like the Pharaoh is still technically qualifies, but like even that's pushing it at 5 attacks that are not going to pick much of. That's one of the units that's going to take a couple turns to grind through Tom's stuff, and more than 2 turns will be the Pharaoh. So he has 10 pieces that can threaten Tom's units, basically. And dedicating one of those is a pretty significant, especially something as big as a Pappy is pretty substantial. Yeah. If anything, even just maneuvering, I don't even know that he needs to do that jump with a Pappy, but threatening it could at least force Tom's hand a little bit more.
I mean, if he were to redeploy Pappy even just to the middle of the board, at least turn 4 or 5, maybe that he has an option to choose to.
Yeah. I mean, I like the Shobek plus a Pappy in the same list. It's shocking how much you can scare
something you're familiar with. As I've played you many a times with those 2 units.
Yeah, the two 10 attack hitting on threes, crush 3, just beat sticks, both of which with fearless and one of which shambles, the other of which is a dragon. I mean, they're chonks.
Did the cursed high priest do
Shadows,
shadows
shadows, and failed.
and
Looks like-
failed?
Yeah,
Because that-
he failed.
Hey, Eric.
Hey,
hey, what's up?
Veil of Shadows failed. That's about the story of that turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of it. I'm just positioning here. I'm keeping the Grenadiers outside of 21 just in case he wild charges them. I got time. I don't feel real rushed here. So on the right side, I want to kind of make a play. Thinking about making a play at those halflings with the rightmost mummy unit, but we'll see. We'll see if they're needed elsewhere.
Okay.
No, I
But
like
so-
that. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was
No,
going to
no,
say,
go ahead.
I like to ask for UB, just is EOD an army that you either have played in person? Are you building it? Is this completely new? Or do you have experience with this list?
Oh yeah.
How much shade should I throw at you this game?
No, because with UB, you never know. People can play something they've never played before. So I always
Sure.
like to know if
Yeah.
this is something you're familiar with.
I've been playing EOD since I think 2019.
Okay, cool.
Played it live. I have the army painted. Actually won best painted at Crossroads this year, so I was really
Nice.
excited about. But yeah, I'm comfortable with it. I'm really comfortable with this list. It's always been 3 mummies. It's always been Shobek. It's always been Soul Snare with the Pharaoh and the Chariot's amazing. I know it's not your typical Empire of Dust. I know people have their Guardians, which are great, Monolith and stuff like that, but I just kind of take a different route with it and a little bit different style.
Okay. And so your plan, like clearly you've put both your tokens on Chobek.
Yep.
You may or may not send a mummy regiment over to try to deal with the Braves. So is your plan at this point to beat out the Iron Beast in the middle to take the token with Chobek?
Yeah, it's going to be a scrum in the middle for sure. I think I outgrind, and I think I win that token. So it's going to be a matter of trying to get the other 2 if I want to go for it. We'll see how it works out.
Okay. And what's your plan for your Pharaoh and Chariot all the way over on the left flank?
He's out there to make sure that he knows he's out there.
Okay.
Just
just keep Tom from wrapping around on you, basically.
Yeah. People underestimate that 18-inch charge range on that thing. So, I mean, I would love to be popping off some Alchemist Curse on probably his flyers if I can get there. If not, I'm just looking for a good charge down the line somewhere to fit him in. So, yeah, that's about it. Not much exciting on the first turn of EOD.
Move forward as fast as you can. Not very
Yep.
fast.
Yeah.
Anybody got any other questions for him?
No.
Not yet. All right, great. Thanks, man.
All right.
We will
All
see you
right.
back here after.
We'll see you after 3.
Yeah, Eric took second place in It's Always Sunny too, with pretty much it was 1995, but it was pretty much this list. Like
A
you said, it
similar
was-
list to this.
Yeah,
Cool.
it was three mummies, Shobek, Apophis, Soul Snare. That was very, very compact, very elite. But that tournament was 1995. But he did really well. Came in second place.
Nice.
I mean, mummy regiments are very tough. It does take that. It's shocking how much that one extra nerve pip means
Oh, yeah.
over -17, which I would consider like already an incredibly good nerve value to have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Like 16 is the average, 17 is good, 18 is incredible.
Yeah, I mean, you could go into mummies, do a bunch of damage, miss the nerve by 1 or 2, and then next thing you know, you're still fighting them 4 turns later.
yeah.
You know, like you,
And that's one regiment.
and that's
yeah,
one
He
regiment.
has
right?
3.
Like you have your one chance that you have a chance to get him, and if you don't, you're never going to have a good day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the no veil is going to be interesting because I mean I don't know what you guys think, but I think Tom dumps all that shooting into the skeletons, the horde of skeletons on the hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really no other good target, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you don't
that's the
waste
thing.
on the mummies.
And
Yeah.
You won't.
And if he can,
Apophis,
get those skeletons, that then would at least clear up some space. He won't be able to use that to block flanks from that side of the
Chobek's
board.
flank.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about the one mummy regiment maybe going over to take out the halfling braves? Like, is that a good use of that regiment? Like, certainly if they get there, they will grind them out over a couple of turns.
Right. But Tom he's got a regiment of aeronauts and edge grenadiers. I could be like, all right, cool. You want to come over here?
Yeah.
If you're going to make a play for it, I could very easily flank you, and aeronauts in the flank of pretty much anything are going to, it's a bad time.
Yeah. I would disagree with the skeletons doing it. Like a Pappy has the speed to get in there, pop the unit, and more importantly, guarantee a pop in one turn, no matter how he hits them, and then turn to face all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And still be relevant. The mummies, even if they go chase the halflings, Tom could ignore the mummies chasing the halflings. The halflings could outrun those mummies realistically in most cases. And even if he does catch them, he's basically spending 80 points to divert a mummy regiment. And again, it's more of just a number of pieces thing here. Like
and it's
if this were chess, Eric's list is a whole bunch of knights, and Tom has a lot more pawns, so to speak. This would be the equivalent of wasting a knight to chase down a pawn, making a run for the edge of the board. In the meantime, Tom's list just envelops and eats what's everything else.
And like Steve said, with that speed of running away from the zombies and then 2 grenadiers to just throw in front of those mummies.
Yeah,
the mummies could spend the whole game trying to chase those guys down and never get one round of combat if Tom was to invest pieces, because he has the pieces to invest.
Yeah.
So I look checking to see if Pappy can fit there.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that is a piece of blocking terrain down in the bottom right corner, that height 10 with the wall on it.
Yeah. Yeah. You do not want Pappy getting in your back lines ever. It just becomes a bad time.
It's not. You pizzas when you were supposed to French fry. If Pappy gets behind your back lines,
it's just the
best case scenario for Pappy.
Yeah, talking about finish a thought about mummies. My clubmate Jake Cherapika, he actually won Crossroads with an undead list that had 3 mummy regiments, and we were kicking the ideas around. I'm like, I don't know why you're taking mummy regiments here, and I was trying to convince him very, very much to replace the mummy regiments with revenant regiments, and then spend more stuff elsewhere. He's like, nah, I like the mummies. I'm like, okay, well, whatever you say. I think the revenants for -17, defense 5, blah blah blah. He's like, no, I'm going to stick with the mummies. I'm like, all right, man, it's your list. And then he turns around and wins the whole thing. Goes 5-0 and wins the whole event. I'm like, okay, well, shows what
literally everyone thought that when they read the list from Crossroads. They were like, why is Jake taking mummy regiments in an undead list?
In undead, yeah. And he's like, I got this.
Jake knows things. Everyone thought that Aaron Chapman in the San Antonio Masters was going to kick Jake's butt in the first round, and Jake was like, "I know things," and he won that game. So it's like,
and then lost everyone after that. But
I mean,
that doesn't matter.
That's what you're going to do, right?
That's irrelevant.
If you beat a player like that, your Masters is done. You're like, I've come, I've conquered, I've sawed.
Right. He had to do a shot with literally every other person at the tournament after that, though, because everyone congratulated him. So
how do you win another game?
Right. That's like it's like Buster Douglas knocking out Mike Tyson and winning the heavyweight title, and then just being, a scrub after that.
And that's no offense to Jake. Part of that is not only the play of Aaron, but that slave orc list had just been demolishing people. So I think it was just a combination of both that list and the player was a tough matchup for him. But so are those Grenadiers leader point in the forest? I'm guessing.
I think they're keeping him just out.
I think the middle is touching the forest.
Okay, so then again, so now he has a piece that can get, if he does want to send those mummies, he has a piece that can start that chaff game there.
Yep.
Yeah, it also threatens the flanks of all these other mummies. Like, he could theoretically surge them in.
Yeah,
but I don't think they especially hindered.
Surge.
Yeah. Well, I mean, 5 inches, six dice. A Pappy's got a lead. I don't know if he can get a Pappy close enough, but
yeah, because he would have to. It would be 5.
It would be 6.
6, yeah.
Yeah.
If it was an inch closer, he could just charge.
Yeah, and he does have surge on both the Pharaoh and on the. Does he have it on the Cursed High Priest? Or is it
Gives him
just
the Cursed High
him?
Priest. I don't think the Pharaoh has it.
The Pharaoh's got
Pharaoh
8.
comes with it by default.
Okay.
He does not have it on the Cursed High Priest. So Shobik
Okay.
also does not have it. So he's got Surge 8, but that's all.
Yeah, and
On
if
the Pharaoh, it looks
Pathos
like.
can get over there. He's got
8 on the
Surge.
Pharaoh and 8 elite on a Pappy. But
Yeah.
yeah.
On
I
Pappy,
mean,
right.
it'd be hindered too. So
Yeah.
it's not.
And if you're doing that, you're probably getting flanked by.
Yeah. I
The
don't
stuff
think
you,
you pick
you,
up.
you don't want to get flanked by.
Yeah,
you
you
know,
won't get flanked
Right.
by aeronauts.
because those aeronauts don't give 0 Fs about forests. So you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's also
Now
the
this
mummy
is
unit that.
interesting. He's deciding to shoot at the mummy regiment.
With the sharp
I don't-
mummies. Okay.
I think that's a mistake. You
I
should just
think I
unload
like
on
to-
the-
On the horde.
Yeah,
but-
I would too.
We'll see here. Maybe he thinks he has
Gets
enough
2.
volume.
No.
Got 2 with the first. But like you say, dash 18 is
That's tough.
very hot. 2 6s from the beast.
Oh, he's rolling okay so
2 more
far.
6s,
Yeah.
so that's 4.
I mean, the trick is you got to do 11 wounds to get the average break.
Oh,
Mhm.
geez, that's looking
Yeah.
Only
Yeah.
one
Yep.
there.
Well, he could burn it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Piercing 1, right?
Piercing 1 on the
Yeah.
rifles. Yeah.
Yeah, everything's
Yeah.
piercing 1 coming out.
That's the
that's
real reason that I would rather shoot the skeletons. Is he's going to get a lot more wounds on them, and even if he doesn't pick them up, he at least starts the process.
I mean, he picks them up in 2 turns if he doesn't pick them up in turn 1. You know.
Mhm.
Right. Exactly.
Second beast comes up.
Does 2.
There's 2.
Because the soul
So
snare
that's
can't see
7.
over the skeletons the way they're positioned right now. The skeletons would have to leave the hill.
2 more from the other
I mean,
engineer.
he's having some dice go his way. I mean, not crazily so, but he's getting some good damage in there.
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
I mean, you say that, but the follow up to this is Iron Resolve is going to take one of them,
Yeah,
and
keep that
then
back.
Yeah.
Regen and
then
Right.
regen, and then heal. What is it? 5 plus rerolling 1 for the skeleton, and then I think a Pappy counts as a skeleton too, so it should be 2 rerolls.
Yeah, that engineer between the rifle,
Can't
behind
see
the
the
rifle
enemies.
Yeah, I
can't
didn't see
actually see. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's going to
Yeah,
shoot the
yeah.
guys on the hill. Sure.
Yeah, that's a good target. Gets at least 1.
Yeah, gets at least 1. Yep.
Yep.
Another rifle is probably back on the mummies, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Since you've committed to the mummies so much at this point.
Yeah.
And I don't know, maybe Tom's just so worried about this defense that he's like, I gotta be a little aggressive, you know,
Yeah.
and just hope that I get some dice to go my way.
Yeah.
Make you use all the spells for healing instead of
Yeah.
doing other things.
Right.
Sure. I just don't think Eric's going to break up the line with Surge in the way like this is one of those cases where and Tom should know better, but I feel like this is one of those things where the threat of Surge assuming that we're going down the thought process of if the goal is to try to force out heals instead of surges, right?
Yeah.
What's Eric going to surge here? Like
What he doesn't
nothing.
need to surge.
Yeah, exactly.
Precise. Like he's never going to surge this game unless Tom just gives him the best golden opportunities ever. Like realistically, Tom just wants a flat line, Eric just wants a flat line engagement. He doesn't even care about flanking. He just wants that grind.
Yeah, because we talked about it. This is the matchup that mummies actually don't care if they get the front. You know,
All right. That was Hex on Pappy.
Pathos, yeah.
Interesting.
I think it was the only thing you could see.
yeah. What height
Yeah.
is the soul? Is the soul snare height 3 or
Height
2?
2.
Height 2.
Could
Yeah.
be
So
height
it's
2.
can't see.
Yeah.
That is an 8 rolled for nerve on the mummies.
Yeah, that was only 15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's
So he
not
gets
different.
1 back for iron right away.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that is going to probably bring us to top of turn 2.
So 2 should come back from regen, followed by a heal 5 with rerolls from the Cursed High Priest and a heal 3 from the Pharaoh.
I mean, they're at 0 next turn,
Yeah, yeah. If there's one on them, that's
and then Veil of Shadows probably is going to
Probably
be
gonna go
casted,
off,
right?
I think
You know?
I think that was the idea is that
Yeah.
I this was Tom thinking like, okay, maybe I spike some dice and be able to take one off without the Veil of
And
Shadows.
that's huge. If he does it,
Yeah.
Yeah,
the,
if he
the upside of that gamble is really, really high.
right.
And Shobek has heal 5-2 on top of that. I forgot about Shobek's heal.
I mean,
Yeah.
this is the devastating when he rolls regen and he's like, oh, 5, even though he doesn't even need it, like you said, with all the heal that he has there.
All right. Hey, Tom.
Hey guys.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
So it's clear what you're planning on doing with your 2 tokens over there on the right, and you've got some guys set up to kind of guard them and support them. What is your plan for the rest of the table then?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna have to give him the first charge, and then try to get some angles if he's not able to reform correctly, or if he bounces on something, and just try to get some aeronaut flanks. It's a tough matchup, even though he's really elite. All this stuff is really tough to kill, and obviously, even when I combine literally all my shooting, I still only do about 6 wounds or so, and he's going to regen and heal most of that back. But he was shooting a mummy, getting lucky potentially, or shooting a defense fort horde, which is not a good option either. So I'm really not expecting my shooting to kill anything. I'm just trying to get some value out of it. So
yeah, we were thinking of why you picked the mummies over the horde. Were you just like, this is a tough matchup for me, I'm gonna roll some dice and maybe I get lucky and pop this mummy regiment?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I guess I could have shot the spearmen, but I'm not really worried about them. I could tie him up. So I'm really just curious if he's actually going to try to surge and get this mummy to try to take my tokens or not. I'd be surprised if he does that, but I think I'd be okay with it, actually. So
now, what was your thinking when you put the Grenadiers leader point in the forest and then moved backwards, or undid that move?
So my plan overall for them is just I'm trying to get them in on a combo charge with the aeronauts, and so I was always going to swing those guys around. But then I figured it was out of his charge range, but it was close enough where that surge 8 he could potentially take that gamble. And if he killed me and overran, that would be really bad. So I was like, there's no reason to put them up that far, so I'll just back him up so he can't really, even on a good surge, get me. So, but yeah, I don't know. I don't really know what to do. I'm just going to try to shoot. Hopefully his heal's not great, and can put some more wounds on the mummies before he gets into me. But it's really going to come down to rolling well on the aeronauts when we eventually meet in the middle.
Okay, so you are planning on basically meeting and in the middle and fighting over the center token.
Yeah. If you didn't put Shobek in the middle, I was gonna try to grab it the token turn 1 with an edge grenadier or something. But once he had it covered with Shobek, I was like, that's probably not a good idea. So,
Okay. You guys have any other questions for Tom? No. All right. Well, we will all eagerly await to see how this turns out then. Good luck, man. We'll see you back here at the end of your third turn.
Okay. Sounds good.
So here's where I disagree about that not shooting the skeleton horde, because and Tom highlighted exactly why he made the choice, which is important. Like he basically doesn't consider it a threat, and out of all the things in the Empire of Dust list, as far as the combat pieces go, the skeleton horde and the skeleton regiment are definitely the things that are less threatening. Basically, they're nowhere near as threatening as Shobek, Pappy, and the mummy regiments. Those are the workhorses. The skeletons are there to take up space. But it is precisely that, which is why he needed to get them off quickly. Yeah. Tom's list has so many pieces. This EOD list is super compact. It's super hard to get those multi-charges in there. And those skeleton spearmen take up a huge chunk of real estate. You pick those up early, you've got a lot more room to fly around in circles, start encircling this small group of stuff. and actually get in the flanks that you need to win the game. Right now, that skeleton horde is basically securing the flank of all those mummies.
No, I think you're exactly right. It's not about the threat of its combat ability. It's that very thing. Tom needs real estate. The aeronaut units are big. They're not, they're not small. And if you take that board control piece out, Shobik has to think about what's coming from the left. All of a sudden, you can have angles from every single one of those aeronauts threatening Shobik. So, I mean, I get the idea of that when you feel like it's a bad matchup or you want to take some chances or whatever. So I get the logic behind it, but I'm with you, Matt. I think I just try to free up that board space right there. And then there's nothing in front of the soul snare either. And it's just, I think it just gives you some options on that sort of left center of the board.
Yeah. This is going to be interesting to see how either side wants to end up engaging.
Yeah.
Right.
Because, I like the idea of Pappy on the hill. Because, I mean, Hex will now go on the Soul Snare for the rest of the game, realistically. I think that's Tom's best move. Until he can pick it up with some plucky shooting, which I would do. I would, wait for it to wound itself to death and then try to take some pot shots with something.
Right. Probably the engineers, since they're hitting on threes.
Very good shots. Yeah.
And they have piercing too. Those guys are going to get over one or get over consistent damage.
They're probably going to have cover, and it's stealthy, so you're a -2. So the engineers going from 3s to 5s. Like you said, once they have 11 damage on them from Hex.
But I think I think one of the early decisions will be, do I send the mummies that way? Because I think sometimes when you get wishy-washy, when you're like, do I send a not unit? Do I not do it? You end up doing the middle ground, which is the worst of the three options of either sending it to the middle or whatever. If you can't decide and you get stuck, and next thing you know, they sort of haven't done anything all game. So I think he needs to decide now on, am I going to send that unit that way or not?
So the Soul Snare is only height 2, correct?
Right.
Yes. He moved the skeletons to where they're not on the hill. So
they're not on the hill.
Yeah.
That's
okay. At least, but that's my assumption. That's my assumption of the intent. So he can shoot the Soul Snare over them. This means the Soul Snare will not get cover in return, or should not.
That means all of Tom's stuff can shoot the Soul Snare. Which is what I was just looking at. I was like, wait a minute, and then I went and looked, and Iron Beasts are only height 5. Nothing on Tom's side of the board is taller than 5. So if the skeletons were still on the hill, then the Soul Snare wouldn't be able to be seen or see anything.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And that may be the right play to just pick that up while there's an opportunity. Even without Hex, it might be a good idea to just try to lay everything into that and pick it up in one turn.
When you can get rid of a Soul Snare, you get rid of a Soul Snare. That's one of those units that if you have a chance to kill, you should take it. It's such a key piece.
Yeah.
If not that, then he needs to pick up the Skeleton Horde this turn, or do as much damage as he can, because it's much less healing coming back in on that without the regen. It's still going to get Iron Resolve, which is annoying. And he's still going to have heal 8 effectively. I think heal 10 when you count the rerolls for all intents and purposes. So it's going to be 5 wounds from that alone, which is just disgusting. But yeah, the Pharaoh coming in is a little interesting. They're so nimbly that you can keep them on the side of the board, and I don't think an Aeronaut unit to the front is reliable enough to pop it. So you can basically draw out one of those pieces and then get a Surge Rear or something to finish it off, or Drain Life it with Pappy and the Soul Snare. Him bringing it into the center like this, I think, gives Tom an opportunity to start coming around that flank.
Yeah.
And I don't know that I like that play specifically. I mean,
it's they're trying to decide whether the Skeleton Horde is still on the hill or not. Yeah, I don't like him turning the Chariot in either. I really like the Chariot all the way over there, basically keeping Tom's flank honest.
Yeah, because there's tons of empty arc space there now that Tom can now move up.
Yeah,
and
especially
be out of arc.
Yeah, I mean, you could effectively get both that left edge grenadier regiment and the aeronauts over there just be hanging out there on the flank.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I
And
mean,
that,
I think
that it's like surging that skeleton spear regiment is not enough of a threat to keep him from getting in good position over there.
Right.
Correct.
We should give
Yeah.
homage to Matt Crozier and call them what they actually are, which are edge grenadiers.
I love
Uh,
Crozier.
the other thing is like maybe he thinks that if the what are they called, the copters, whirly copters,
The aeronauts.
aeronauts. There we go.
Yeah.
Now I'm getting confused with the grenadiers and the aeronauts because
Yeah.
they're all flying. But the aeronauts are height 4, so like theoretically you're blocking line of sight if you get a front charge on the Pharaoh. So maybe he's like worried that
They're height 5.
the Pharaoh gets locked out. But you just walk around them. You just literally disengage and just leave.
Yeah. So it's like Veil of Shadows did go off this time, so that'll
Yeah. Is it a
Yeah.
12-inch bubble or a 6? It should only be a 6-inch bubble,
6
right?
inch, yeah.
Yes.
So it probably doesn't reach that skeleton horde.
Well, that's
Yeah,
him, right?
Yeah, that's it right there.
Yeah.
Oh, I miss. Yeah, the Pharaoh's in the right.
Mhm.
Okay, so yeah, he does have it. For shame.
Does that affect the soul snare at all?
The Soul Stare is
It wouldn't
already
stack
stealthy.
since
Right,
the
it's already
yeah.
stealthy. Okay,
Yeah,
so
it's already
so
stealthy.
that just makes it more likely that you'll shoot the soul snare.
Yeah,
'cause-
you take everything at the Soul Snare.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's interesting that that Eric did hitting on 5s with the Soul Snare. Got 5 wounds on that troop or
Yeah.
that regiment of rifles.
and I believe that was the nerve roll on
the
them.
nerve
She
roll
did-
there.
did
yeah.
roll snakes. Good
Yeah,
time
it's good-
for it.
good
Right?
time
Get it
for
out of
it.
the way.
Yeah. I mean, odds are you're going to roll 1 snakes every game with I don't know. That's what Paige told me, and Paige is a lot better than I am, so I'm going to go with it. What he says.
When Doctor Strange tells you stuff about numbers, you got
Yeah, you're like, oh yeah, that
You should listen.
yeah.
Should
Because,
listen.
like Paige told me this. Like, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah,
okay,
Paige,
well, then I gotta
Paige told me
move
that it's pretty much once a game. You're pretty much guaranteed to roll at least 1 snake eye. So if it's something like that.
Well, I think Eric was right to turn that right mummy regiment in and just be like,
all right, whatever. Yeah.
you got it. I think as Jack's dad said in the chat, that mummies weren't ever going to catch them on their own. So
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel honestly like Tom should back up a little bit, as weird as that sounds. Maybe not with his direct center, but at least position the right hand aeronauts to where the only unit I can realistically see being pounced on here, or the best and most efficient attempt at a pounce from Eric, would be Shobek and Pappy into the middle Iron Beast. The problem is that would leave them exposed for a turn while the mummies and everything else have to then play keep up, because I assume the skeletons are out of reach of anything. Maybe not the left hand.
Shobik would have to drop the tokens to do that.
Yeah,
though.
you have to, which honestly isn't that big a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
I mean, if
pretty
you
much.
pop an Iron Beast to one turn, that's definitely worth
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
Especially because it's one of the only things that's a risk to a lot of this army. And then currently, assuming Tom made no moves, if he did that with a Pappy and Shobek, and I assume Pappy has line of sight to that Iron Beast, or arc to it more likely. Yep.
Yep. it is.
Then at that point, only 1 unit of aeronauts would be able to touch them, and the riflemen are both hindered in terrain and are going to tickle both of those things. And with Iron Resolve in the picture on top of that, like that tickle is literally going to do jack shit to both of them. And then yes, they're in the middle of the army, but like Pappy wants that in this circumstance. He's putting wounds on everything.
Yeah.
And making it even easier for the mummies to just start one-shotting things. Because there's no heal in Tom's list. Like once it starts taking damage.
Yeah, any damage is, besides something that isn't there a Tinker Radiance of Life on something, but no heal.
There is that. That'll help a
But
little.
like right now, the Tinker's gonna hit, not gonna hit the actual halfling, so it's gonna hit the aeronauts and the grenadiers.
Yeah.
But the Braves and the riflemen don't have Tinker.
Mm-hmm.
The halfling rifles have Tinker.
Do they? No.
They do.
This tilt is good because that puts at least 2 aeronaut units now to cover it. If he moves strategically, he might be able to get the other Iron Beast in, assuming the first one dies. But I just don't think he has enough to, like, it would be super risky. But if he pounced, I don't know that Tom has enough to actually punish him for doing it.
Yeah, that's the thing is like and another reason why I think it would have been so great to take off that spears is he needs to have somehow make Eric start to go like this, to try to open up some sort of space to get in somewhere. But if he can stay in that like line with that murder box,
Yeah.
it's going to be tough to double charge or combo charge or get stuff in together, which is what he needs. But I mean, still super early, but I just really think that shooting that horde would have been the better play.
Yeah. I think Eric can wait one more turn before having to worry about that. He can just walk forward again.
Yeah.
And just put him, like, basically force the issue. Because Eric doesn't care if Tom charges him realistically.
Not at all.
He might lose a unit, but I don't think I don't think Tom has the critical mass to play it, to basically make it an alpha strike, to do the alpha strike thing, remove enough pieces of Eric's army to be a fatal blow. Because the nice thing about Eric's list being all elite is, unlike a lot of lists which do, like, you'll have a couple really elite things and then like some less elite things, and Eric's list is all elite, so it's much harder to isolate and remove the win condition.
Yeah.
Because it's all win condition.
Yeah, and his elite is trading attack volume and power for defense, right? Which can be an issue with elite when it's the attack volume side of the bell curve, is all your stuff is 15, 17. You get stuck anywhere, you're in trouble. And this type of elite, the defensive elite usually runs into trouble when you just can't kill anything. They can't kill you, but you can't kill anything either.
Yeah,
so
you get stuck fighting like zombie legions or something. It's the worst.
Right. And mummies you just don't have the attack volume. So
you'll be there all game.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be interesting when they do finally engage. Can Tom get the charges he needs to pick units up? Because each unit that Eric loses is a big deal.
Right. Yeah. Let's see, he does have the second.
Yeah, he's trying to get in position so that he can see, and there's enough space for Pappy to actually land and hit any of that lander.
If Shobik, man, I really wish Pappy and Shobik's spots were switched, or at least that Pappy was on the right hand side of the circumstance. Because if Pappy could land on the right and Shobik on the left, I would almost be willing to trade Shobik to draw in every single aeronaut unit, which is then going to die to all the mummies the next turn. Basically, like it's so hard for Tom to punish anything.
Radiance of Life did go off on the engineer and heal 1 off of the rifles that got soul snared last turn.
Yep.
And I know, Matt, you play him all the time. That's the thing with Shobik, right? Which is you either say, I don't care, I'm not going to fight him at all. Like, I'm just not even going to try.
Right.
Or if you are going to kill him, you kill him. But usually when that happens, that's when the box closes on you because the amount of stuff you got to send into Shobik to kill him. So I find more often than not, I just don't even, I'm just like, go Shobik be Shobik,
Right. Yeah. It's that's kind of the risk of these type of lists is, it's the danger of Alpha Strike in general, right? Like, which is how you have to play against this list, is just if you get stuck, or even if you don't get stuck, but if you kill something and you can't capitalize on the positioning that opens up.
Here comes the shooting volleys at the soul snare now.
There we go.
Magic number is what, 15?
Yeah, it's -15.
Might be 14.
But I think it's 15.
Soul snare is -15.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took a break from it for a while. What a fool I was. Yeah, 15. Fucking hell. Oh, he's doing some damage there though. Again, Hex on top of that will be a detriment. I don't think you try to Hex a Pappy or the Cherry this turn.
Yeah. You hedge your bets and Hex
Yeah.
the Soul Snare.
At which point it's actually probably best that I would almost not fire with the Soul Snare next turn at that point.
Engineer
I
comes
maybe
up short.
try to pick up the rifles. Ooh.
So that's only 6 wounds. So that would be a 9 twice.
Mm-hmm.
But here comes
Here comes
Hex,
Hex.
which
There it
goes
goes.
off.
That's very important.
Yeah, that's he needs that for sure.
Yeah. Thing is, it doesn't have to move to shoot, so it's not as devastating for it.
That's
so it's
true.
More in this case, it's just about piling on wounds to hopefully he can pick it up the turn after that.
And there's a 5 rolled for nerve, so that is not going to pick up the Soul Snare.
Down to 5.
And no combats, so that I believe is going to take us to the top of 3.
Yep, Eric's 3.
So 3 turns, nothing is actually dead yet.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think Tom tries to do his best and give the aeronauts as many lines as he can, right? So
Yep.
as you know, I mean, I think, but when not having any of his shooting damage stick, that just really that's got to hurt, right?
Yeah. I played before last year, before Clash hit, I played a lot of goblins. Playing against Empire Dust was always just so disheartening. Like, I shoot everything here. I do 11 wounds. I don't pick it up, and it's gone.
And restart. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt's
Better not make
laughing. You know, he's like,
I don't play that style list. I mean, I know it exists and I know it is doable as exemplified here. But
he's got a chariot though. You're not.
Yeah, he does have a chariot. And it is the best one. So
Sneaky.
Sure.
I don't know that I don't know that I like this. Again, I think he could use one more turn just shoving everything forward so that he can just engage everywhere as opposed to
I'm not a fan
piecemeal.
of that either.
Yeah. And if he does do that, he absolutely needs to commit Shobek and a Pappy to the siege engine, I think.
Otherwise, you're just trading damaged rifles for a Pharaoh on a chariot.
Yeah,
Right.
which is an
Not
excellent win for Tom there.
Yeah, that's not so good.
Yeah.
But
A 270-point Pharaoh chariot, no less.
Yeah.
And he's not even Roz.
But we have come to turn 3, and that is typically the turn when shit happens. So
This is much more a better play, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, trying to
Sneaky
Surge.
surge with the skeleton regiment.
hit that front corner.
Yeah. Gives Pappy something to do this
Yeah.
turn.
Yeah. Maybe 4.
4 with elite 12.
Yeah.
Or yes, 4 with
4.
Pappy's elite surge 8.
Right.
Which is not at all.
Which is doable.
Yeah.
Doable.
And now we see, that's much better because then he'd be no marching there, which gets tricky.
What is the nerve on the chariot again?
Dash 16.
Dash 16. Defense
5.
Defense 5. Yeah.
Defense 5. Dash
So
16.
good.
It's just
Every
so
time.
hard to predict damage from aeronauts, man. It's just as
It's either 18 or nothing.
literally. I have 3 hits. I have 17 hits. You know, I
Right.
mean, it's just so
Right.
tough to
Yeah. I
predict.
think he's
them
trying to see if he can scooch it.
and
If
be
we can
out of
get out
arc.
of arc. Yeah.
Yeah. Might be able to. I think you'd have to push it pretty far over though to pull it off.
I will say both these UB armies look very good.
Oh yeah,
Very pretty UB armies, I must say.
Our friend Jesse Bilbia went through right when the halfling beta list dropped and made all of these lovely halflings.
Oh, it's a really nice. It's a nice looking UB army for sure.
Yeah. So props to Jesse.
Yeah.
Speaking of Jesse, coming up on March 5th.
Next weekend.
Yeah, we will be having the Sweaty Gigante online tournament again, which is a charity tournament in memory of Jesse Cornwell, run by Jesse Bilbia and Keith Conroy. They are, I believe, still accepting signups, and we will be streaming games each round throughout the day and accepting donations. Donations are going to, I believe, one of the ASPCA organizations in West Virginia.
Yeah, whichever one that Jesse worked volunteered at or whatever.
Yeah. So keep your eyes open for that. There'll be a lot more posts about that in the next week or so.
Mm-hmm. Great event honoring a great guy that I know all of us miss.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
So it looks like, is he still working on the chariot?
He's trying to get it out of the arc.
He's really trying to push that arc.
But then what can it see for next turn though?
I think it's he might be trying to play the super long game. Like next turn, he basically pushes it all the way through and then pivots 90 or even more than 90.
Is in the rear at that point.
Yeah. And then at that point, he has all the fucking targets in the world to play with.
That's true.
Yeah, puts it and from here, he can cast Alchemist Curse, at least on the Grenadiers, because he didn't march. And he is out of Charge Arts there.
He's out of both. Yeah. Okay. I like that. That's not bad.
No, that's not bad.
And he doesn't need too much to get, because it's like Alchemist 10, I think. Because it's
the 4. It'll be 4 plus. It'll be 8 against.
Yeah, the Grenadiers are defense 4.
Yeah,
gotcha. So 8 dice hitting on 4s, wounding on 2s.
Yeah,
for an 11-13 unit.
Right.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Those are great little brutal platforms, but they do die. I mean, they're very
they're very squishy.
Very squishy.
Yeah. Okay, he's gonna try pushing mummies through the forest
for a surge, maybe on there, and then if he picks that unit up and puts the mummies in a nice spot,
he only needs a 4.
Yeah,
if that's their position, and that's solidly in a flank. So that would definitely.
Someone check the top aeronauts. Not the Grenadiers. Yeah, okay, so he doesn't are quite over there. Top Grenadiers are probably a little bit arched too far to the left.
Yeah, the top center aeronauts definitely are. The top center Grenadiers would still see the mummies. After reform, unless they really ran far.
I genuinely think Eric doesn't give a shit about the Grenadiers. Is the problem? Like anything that doesn't have Crush in Tom's army might as well not be there.
Yeah,
it's just occupying space.
And then what Crush Tom does have, if Eric can get him to move it away from the center token, that's probably he's probably happy to see them do that.
Like don't get me wrong, the brutal D3 is cute.
Exactly, it's cute.
Yeah, but you gotta have some punch to follow through with that.
Yeah.
So what that would be that'd be a hindered charge. So that'd be 24 attacks on 5s.
Yeah, 5s
and 2s.
It is the one downside of this list is even though it's as Jeremy excellently pointed out, it's elite defensively, but offensively, a lot of 5s here when terrain's involved.
And even 4s, we say the live by the 4s, die by the 4s. You just, you just never know what you're going to, just like the aeronauts are too. You just never know what you're going to get.
If we're playing law of averages, should be 8 hits. And then I don't know the defense on
the Grenadiers are defense.
They're going to need 2s. So like 6 damage, I think, somewhere around there, plus or minus.
Yeah.
6 or 7. Yeah.
And
then they're probably.
It's 11-13 and they're not inspired. So
low.
It could be a nail biter, depending on which way he swings.
The one downside is if he misses it, and this is the only reason I don't necessarily like that, because it is at least still, it's what, a 3-inch surge at least, maybe a 4-inch.
It's a 4, yeah.
What? Check the arc on those aeronauts. How far do? If he only goes a couple inches.
Yeah, that's my concern. Is if he whiffs it, if he only goes 3 and not the full 4,
eat them in the flank.
yeah,
and he might get these grenadiers and the aeronauts in the flank.
Yeah,
because the aeronauts he's pointing at, or the grenadiers he's currently pointing at, can't see him even when he surges forward.
Yeah,
because they're right on that line.
So that becomes risky.
He's got Surge 8 on the Pharaoh, right? That's right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all he has realistically, because Pappy has to do the spears.
Yeah.
Right.
On the other side. Yep.
Right. Yeah.
I would almost much rather he commit both units to surging 1 to guarantee a kill.
That Pharaoh also has the aura that gives elite to mummies.
Right.
That's
so that
true.
does help a little.
If he hits, it adds in maybe an extra hit and wound realistically. So it basically brings it up from the 6 to a more guaranteed 7.
Right. But it'll still need a healthy nerve roll to pick it up.
Yeah. I don't know that it needs to be healthy, but if he hits it, that still puts the mummies in a good position. He just needs to hit it. I think the actual bigger concern for him is not hitting the surge if he just rolls a low surge.
Right.
Which,
yeah,
that's the thing that all EOD players will agree upon. If you know those. Yeah, the average says that on 8 dice I should go 4 inches, but man, when you roll a 1,
when you roll that 3, you're like,
yeah,
it happens.
How's that good?
Surge is great until you don't get.
Mm-hmm. I've just left it dangled out for you. Have fun, Here's my present to you.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Okay, so he takes it off the hill. And I think the purpose of this may be to play a long game where he moves it again to just pick up that unit on the right.
So it's hexed and he has moved it. That means it can't cast?
Can't do anything.
Yeah, it's not
cast.
casting.
Yeah, he was choosing not to cast and instead has hidden it behind Shobek.
Okay. Interesting.
Which does not make it immune to getting shot.
It doesn't make it immune to getting shot. But I guess he decided that putting a whole bunch of wounds on the Soul Snare to pick up a regiment of halfling rifles was not worth it in turn 3.
Yeah. I think that's true. But it can get shot by both Iron Beasts. It can get shot by anything that can draw some laser lines.
Here we go. Looking for 4 successes on a surge roll on 8 dice.
Can he do it?
He definitely
does get the extra. Okay. So
does get the extra.
But
that will take him just outside of the aura, though. So I don't think he's going to be elite. No, he's not.
Correct.
So he will not be in the elite aura.
Oh, and that may matter when you're hit. Because he's gonna. I don't know. Their nerve is so low. He should unless he totally flubs.
And on the other side, he gets 6 successes from Pappy, so that's more than enough to sneak into the flank of the Braves on the hill. With the spears.
That's 30 attacks on 5s, so 10 hits realistically, and they're Braves, so they should be defense 4, so 4s.
4, yeah.
So 5. I don't think he actually pops that.
No, he doesn't.
Even with the flank.
Now, Alchemist Curse looks like maybe he's trying to decide whether to try for the Grenadiers or the Aeronauts.
Mm-hmm.
I think he just catches the corner of the Grenadiers, so it is a valid target.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like he's picked the Grenadiers.
I think it's like a cover thing, right? He probably wants the shot without cover. Ooh, that's gross.
Well, it's a good thing he didn't get that on the Surgeon.
Right. Of the 3 spells this turn, that's the one you don't mind flubbing.
Yeah, this isn't too bad. The single wound, still a chance to waver. Actually, still a chance to kill. Jesus.
Yeah, you can.
Tom put the wound on the Aeronauts, though.
I guess he went on the. Did he go on the Aeronauts?
Yeah, which one did he go on?
Don't know. He's got the marker over the Grenadiers, but Tom put the wound on the Aeronauts, so.
I'm assuming it's on the Aeronauts then. I mean, 13, 15, so at that point he's looking for a lucky waiver.
Yeah, he's looking for a buff. Yeah.
All right, that should take us into combat then. Oh no, we're going to cast heal on the soul snare.
Yeah.
Of course,
Oh, from the
Should go.
gotcha, yeah.
from the pharaoh.
Priest.
Was it the curse type priest?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
curse type
fair.
priest that is heal 5 with the
Only
reroll.
one.
Okay,
Only
okay.
Okay, only 2.
one. Yeah.
Okay, he's just cleaning it up.
All right, so that should take us into combat. We got one on each end of Tom's lines here. Okay, and
Okay,
Tom
yeah.
moved the wound back over to the grenadiers.
Okay, so that's what
There
the
we go.
target.
And there's
And
a nerve
that's a
roll.
waiver.
Sure is.
Or is it? No, 10.
No,
they're,
13.
they're 11,
Just
13. One
They're 11, 13.
Yeah, they're, yeah.
They're so fragile.
All right. Skeleton Spearman, this is your moment.
Mm-hmm. Your moment to shine.
Yeah. Gets
17.
Nice wound roll.
6, yeah. Nice
Yeah.
conversion.
one over on the wounds, but I think he needs an 8 twice at least. That's
There's
one,
an 8
so
once. And a
might be
7, that's
waiver. Definitely a waiver.
Yeah,
That's
Possibly
12,
a kill.
14. They're 12, 14, so that should be it.
Wavered.
Waiver. Okay. That's actually okay for Tom, I think,
Yeah, I think so
Um,
too. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
he can clean that up with the Grenadiers and the Aeronauts if he wants to.
Oh,
10,
ouch.
10 hits
5
and
wounds.
7 wounds,
Yeah, 7 wounds.
Oof.
but a 3
Oh,
roll.
Oof. Whiffed it.
So,
Yeah.
so they will hold. The Grenadiers
they're not
on the
even
right
wavered.
will hold.
Shocking.
Wavered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're free to go. Oh, you counter. I don't know what you do.
At this point, you throw them as chaff in front of everything to buy some
Yep.
time. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And then pounce on it with something else. Yep.
yeah,
Well,
because that's what you
Interesting.
don't want to have happen is get stuck.
Interesting.
Yeah, for this thing, yeah.
That is interesting. Well, Tom has some options now. He's got some plays here, I think.
Yeah. He might actually have a flank on Shovik with the Aeronauts on the right. I don't think it's enough to kill it by any stretch.
Is Shobik in
Yeah.
front of that mummies? I can't. It's hard to tell from
Yeah,
that.
hard to tell. You have to zoom in.
Can you
Yeah.
zoom in on Shobik?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So if he has
Yeah, he
range,
could
that
Definitely
is
in front.
Yeah.
I don't think that's still a
And
good
here's-
play because they're
Here's
only.
Eric.
Yeah.
Hey, Eric, welcome back.
How's it going?
I should ask you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Alchemist Curse was a little weak, unfortunately. I tried to pick a spot there where, let's see. Yeah, he didn't have spell ward on that guy, so I was hoping to get a big Alchemist Curse there.
and
Over
you
here,
did manage to get it out of arc of everything, so it's a pretty safe spot for him as well.
yeah, he's okay there. The hindered, I really made a mistake. I wanted to get that mummy, my pharaoh within 6 when they were lined up, but I didn't check
Yeah.
it.
For the elite roll,
elite,
yeah.
the elite would have helped. I think. What did I do? I would have had 2 extra. So
Yeah, the 3 nerve roll, I think, would really hurt you there.
yeah, and that puts some guys out on the flank. If I do pop that unit, I'm in a pretty good spot to start turning in. But yeah, all in all, I was really unsure to whether Veil Shadows or heal the Soul Snare there. I don't know. I don't know if he has enough. I don't know if he has enough shooting to take out a Mummy Regiment, but I probably should have threw Veil up anyway. All in all, that's what it is.
All right. So you basically moved up your center. You've kind of gone at both flanks a little bit. You got a waver on one side, no waver on the other side. Now Tom's definitely gonna counterpunch.
For sure.
Has your plan in the middle changed at all, or are you still planning to just walk up, take the token, and outpunch it?
Yeah, I'm just being careful in positioning with the aeronauts on the right side. I'm a little concerned. I really want him to. I really want him to move on those. I want him to come in or something. But he seems to be being pretty patient with them. They're the thing that's really kind of holding me back. But I have time. I have time to get to the middle. I hate that the Braves are out there by themselves. I was half thinking to swing those mummies around if I pop the Grenadiers, but yeah, we'll see. It's still all about that center token. So
Yep.
It is. It definitely is. All right, great. Do you guys have any other questions for Eric while we got him back? Nope. All right, we're going to hold him for the end of the game. But all right,
pretty
thanks
quiet,
for
boys.
Yeah, thanks for we don't want to accidentally give you any hints. Kind of always our cautious thing here mid game to ask, like, hey, why didn't you blah blah? And you're like, what? I didn't see that. Hold on, wait a minute.
Totally get it, man. Totally get it. I've watched enough to see it. Yeah. All right, boys. Well,
thanks.
We'll see you back at the end. Good luck, man.
Good luck.
All right.
I also don't really disagree with any of the moves. I'm not like a huge fan of the skeletal spearman on the left. I don't think it's a bad move, but I don't think it gains him anything in the long run, really. Like that's kind of where I'm sitting on it. And the mummies on the right, I think, was the better move of the two, but it was one of those like it's a risk move, and what's the payoff? Well, he turns the mummies toward the center, and I guess at that point forces Tom to start a push. Tom could definitely blow up the skeletons this turn if you throw all the aeronauts in it, but I don't think he wants to waste them on skeletons, which is the right call there.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like his something spicy. I feel like I kind of liked his moves last turn actually, because when you're moving up at somebody like this, and they've turned their army into an arc, and they're faster than you. They really want you to come up into the middle, so like throwing your big pieces into the middle would kind of be stepping into a trap the way Tom angled everything. So I feel like at that point you got to be like, well, I can't go in the middle. I got to go at one or the other end. And I've got decent plays on both. I might as well give them both a try and see if at least one of them works out for me.
Yeah, like imagine like the 6-inch or a 6-inch bubble around that middle token. That's Tom's whole force army is like focused on that board space, right?
Yeah,
where he's like that 6-inch bubble around the middle because he knows that's the part of the board which is going to decide this game. Is Shobik right there in that unpicked up token? So I think in some way Tom's like. If he moves up, Eric, I think Tom actually wants him to move up a little bit, but now I think looks like he's going to do it, going to engage. Oh, it won't fit.
I don't think he can even fit there.
Yeah, that's not going to fit.
Yeah, he's basically intentionally limited to where Shobik is the only viable charge, or the skeletons, which again, not the thing you want to be charging with one of your only hammers.
Yeah.
Right.
It's still rough. I don't mind the charge on a Pappy. I just don't know. I feel you have to commit with that if you're going to do it. Like, if you're going to drop one of your chaff pieces on Pappy to keep him pinned for a turn, then you need to pick up the skeletons at that point.
Yeah, it's like you're exactly right. If you are grounding him, you're grounding him not just to ground him. You're grounding him because you want to do something else.
Right. Or stripping the surge, I guess, is the other part of that.
I always forget about his magic stuff sometimes.
Oh yeah, no, he's very versatile for what you get. I will say, I actually think the right call for Hex here is to Hex the Pharaoh if he can get to it, the Pharaoh Chariot specifically, to limit its ability to, like, he'll either have to cast Alchemist Curse or start moving at that point. I think he should just try to blast the Soul Snare off with all the line of sight that he should have to it. Because Veal got up last turn, right? Or no, he healed. He did not heal.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. No, in that case, he should do what he was supposed to do the first time and kill the skeleton horde with his shooting. Just blast it off the table. Or at least start putting some massive wounds on it, because like he desperately needs that real estate. He needs that second open flank on Shobik. The ability to put 2 aeronauts on Pappy, not just one or none in this case. Like, one of the reasons Pappy is so strong is you just bunker him against a unit like this, where Pappy is butt to butt, and you can't threaten him. But Pappy is just such a magnet of like all the things, because like you're right, it's not just his combat ability. It's Cloak of Death that he can add to other combats. It's Surge that he can throw in places. It's his Drain Life that he could put on top of things. Like he has so much versatility as long as you can't pin him down. Yeah, and like, but what's the point of that? Like,
What are you doing?
why?
Yeah.
You,
I mean, the
I
ones
feel
that
like
have 4
Tom's
wound
trying to play this like an Alpha Strike list, but he doesn't have enough Alpha Strike to do that.
Yeah, no. He's gonna bounce off whatever he hits.
Yeah,
That's just not how you want to. Not how you
and
play Alpha Strike successfully.
sacking the. Okay, let's see how this goes. I don't. Is he gonna throw a unit into the skeletons in the front just to do it?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, okay. We're doing this.
Oh, wait a minute.
He's gonna
Wait a
We
minute.
are gonna do this. Okay.
It's gonna actually bring it in on that unit now, I think.
Is he gonna try?
He's gonna try a triple charge.
He's gonna try a
Yeah.
triple charge, and that'll leave the halflings, the rifles right in front of Pappy for next turn.
Or Shobik? Yeah.
Or Shobik, sorry, yeah.
Throw
Yeah.
the other
The,
half rifle as
oh.
well. Oh no, Iron Beast.
Ooh.
Does that
All right.
reach to that? Is it speed 6 or 5?
It's 5, but has wild charge.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That's why wild
Gotcha.
charge D3.
And does that keep
Ooh.
Shobik in the that keeps Shobik in the front of the Iron Beast?
Yep.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
But yeah, there's mummies.
Yeah, well, I think
Yeah.
if he's engaging here, he's going to try to engage up and down that line, right? At this point,
Yeah.
He's gonna
At
have
this
to,
point, you
'cause-
toss something into Shobik just to do it.
right,
Right.
because like those are the
Grenadiers.
strength 3 mummies looking at that Iron Beast's flank, which is the mummy regiment you want looking at their flank.
yeah.
Yeah. Does he throw the other rifle unit into the mummies? Can he reach them?
Yeah.
Speed.
Just
8.
barely.
Yeah, just barely.
They're speed 10. So,
Are they speed 10?
yeah.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, right.
They are.
Right. Because
They
they made them
They're speed
not
10.
slow for some reason.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, he has to
Yep.
commit. Yeah, at least
Yeah.
one unit as a chat piece there. That's a good call.
And he could do both. They're in range and they are in the front.
Nah, at that point, I think you sack one at a time. So you
Yeah,
throw
you
one
don't-
in just to let it get eaten.
Sure.
Yeah.
He's hoping to pop the skeletons in one turn. If he doesn't pop the skeletons in one turn, he's in trouble.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Um,
And at this point, if Shobik flanked your
Well, that's
flanked your rifles, you kind of don't care.
Mhm.
yeah.
No?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's just trying to do that up and down door engagement where you engage every unit and hope
Yeah.
you either kill or hold, and then now the tokens, he's in front of the middle token.
Right.
I just wondering
Sure.
what he's gonna do with that that mummy unit over there on the right side, because he doesn't really have anything else in arc of that, right? Oh, or he has
Just these grenadiers.
just the
If
grenadiers.
he walks the grenadiers forward, but they're not nimble because he lost flying. Honestly, he just countercharges, and that locks him down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's realistically what he does here. He doesn't have to do anything fancy because the mummies can't back up, turn, and surge. That's ultimately what matters.
Oh,
here.
I thought that unit got wavered for some reason.
No, they didn't even get
Oh,
Yeah.
there.
oh,
No,
okay.
yeah, he rolled a
Wait,
3
wait.
on the nerve check. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So he loses the grenadiers, but the mummies are pinned for a turn, which
Great.
is all that
They're doing
matters
nothing.
there.
Then you could position more with.
Yeah.
And then you push something else up to behind the halflings and pick up the token, and then just start backing away.
And then now
The
he'll
Grenadiers
have
any. They don't
Is there
have
anything
any crush.
no, just
Ugh.
just the D3 brutal.
I don't know that I like. This is very dependent on if a Pappy gets wounded. If a Pappy does not get wounded, then this gets really bad really fast.
Because the grenadiers have. Let me double
Yeah,
check.
they're 9
They're
attacks.
nine
on fours.
attacks on 4s and 5s.
On 4s,
So
yep.
there is.
So
a
I mean,
very-
they should do a
they
They
should
damage.
should put one,
Yeah.
but only one, which is
Yeah.
I mean that's like I said,
That's all you need.
it's about the same risk that the
Uh-huh.
mummy surge on the right was in my mind. Like
I've been playing
If-
a lot of Twilight Kin, and that's like the same running gargoyles into a flyer that's defense 5. You're like, I
Yeah.
should do 1 damage.
Yeah, I just need one.
Yeah.
That's all I need.
Yeah.
yeah. Because if he doesn't get it, because the thing here is if he pops the skeletons, a Pappy probably still has easy peasy withdrawal charges, like corkscrew charge. He just backs up, pivots, and he's got arc on everything there to the front.
Yeah.
And he kills the rifles in one hit there, easy peasy. He might not be able to actually get to the steam tank or the Iron Beast, depending on how arcs shake up, whether or not that flank will be covered.
Yeah.
And this is all assuming that a wound is dealt, because if a wound isn't dealt, then he can eat the aeronauts in the upper left corner. He could start fighting the Iron Beast in the center, and it will take Tom a while to start turning things around. It could go very spicy. I assume the Hexcaster is going after the Pharaoh, though.
Yeah. I was just saying, good thing this is not April
Yeah.
and Tom doesn't hit the go back button 1,000 times and goes, "Fooled you! I'm gonna do something completely different."
Yeah, this is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I
That's
think
one
Tom's-
plan, but I don't like it. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
take it back.
and I think Tom knows his aeronauts are just gonna have to do work in this game.
Yeah.
So I think
you
he's
gotta
just
be on
realizes
the
that,
plus side
and
of the hitting them force.
he has to get him in combat, and
At
hopefully
the bottom
they-
of 3, you got to start.
Yeah, you
Oh.
got to start at some point, right?
And so
you're gonna run out of game.
the Grenadiers have run up and landed touching the token, so he could pick up the token with the Grenadiers this turn.
Yeah,
And
I don't see
then
any
just
reason why not to.
Yeah.
beat feet.
I mean, worst case scenario is the Soul Snare blasts him off the table, but like, oh no, you're back where you
Right.
started.
Um,
If anything, he can hike the token back a little bit and make it a little bit harder to pick up the fall.
I kind of like picking it up and then just moving backwards with them. Just make it, it harder for him to get.
And
to
holding a token is still just as good in this case. It's still a game winner.
Yeah,
it is.
Right.
Assuming he can just back up rapidly.
Yeah.
There's
Should
not a lot of
be
shooting
quite
coming
fine.
out of
Okay,
Shovik is height 5, correct?
it's height 5.
Yep.
So yeah, that Iron Beast.
Oh, he forgot.
Yeah. And the Grenadiers are height 2. Okay. So you can see with that engineer, right? But you can't see with the
Yeah.
Iron Beast.
Hey, put 2 wounds in them.
clink.
I'm sure.
Oh.
And it's a wound that sticks.
Yeah. Shobig is like, oh, these stupid bugs.
That Iron Resolve,
All right.
it's no joke when it's combined with Fearless.
Tons of combat.
So good.
Tons of combats. All right, looks like we're starting with the aeronauts. With elite.
Oh,
Okay,
and he did pick up the token.
he
It
did
sounds
pick up
like.
the token.
Okay.
Yep.
The Grenadiers in the center.
All right, this
Nine
is
hits.
it.
Oh,
This will be
that's
these are
our
elite
two-
ones.
These are the elite
to
ones. So
elite.
10
Yeah.
hits.
So a 10, yeah.
Dead skeletons. Spoiler alert.
1, 2, 3. Doing the math.
That's 11?
That's
Math is hard.
Many.
many.
Many
Great.
evaporation skeletons.
Yeah.
Yep. That was.
Yep.
Aeronauts on flanks will do painful things to you.
Yeah.
So he sidesteps. Yep. Perfect.
Sidesteps
He's out of
to
arc
get out of arc.
Pharaoh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Probably only needed the 1 inch.
Yeah, he just it was very close to begin with.
Oh,
I
Coming
forgot
back.
the hex.
forgot
Oh,
to hex,
yeah.
but goes
Gentleman
off
and
easily.
a scholar, letting
Yeah.
you go back and hexing,
Yeah.
as you should.
Yep.
All right, next combat. Going
So
all the way to the other side.
the correct thing for the Pharaoh to do next turn is just pivot. Pivot 90. Just face the center of the board.
Yeah.
That is 0 wounds, looks like, on the mummies,
Yeah, doesn't
Eh.
matter.
Oh no.
but doesn't really matter. Braves on mummies or riflemen on mummies? Having rifles on
Hey, did
mummies.
1.
A damage.
And then it gets unresolved off.
Can't be broken. Irrelevant.
Yep.
Okay, another big combat
Alright.
here.
This is play the slashing.
Aeronauts don't have brutal base. No.
No.
So that's 5 hits, which is
3, 6, 10, 12.
That's not bad.
It's not terrible. 12 hits. I mean, that's about the equivalent of
Maybe
even Soul Reavers.
Ooh, nice
10
damage roll.
wounds.
Wow, nice
Yeah,
damage
that,
roll.
That was in fact the damage of a unit of Soul Reavers there. He needs an 8 twice.
But only gets
Got
a
a
5.
Probably still sticks, but
It's a good.
that's a good start. Makes
It's a
him
very good start. That
That
hurts.
starts putting some wounds out.
There should be those should be left. Some of those left next turn.
Yeah, hopefully.
Now on the horde,
Two wounds from the
the rifles. Yep.
Yeah, now the
rifles,
beast,
Iron Beast.
D6. Oh, he rolled 5 for his attacks.
Yeah.
For the
Nice.
D6. Yep.
Nice,
So 7.
getting some
be
solid
7?
damage rolls.
Yeah.
7 or 6. No,
Now
yeah,
the big
it'll be
one.
7.
9.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
Bring him
don't
up to
care
9.
about being flying, which is a big
Yeah.
deal.
They hit no fours.
Oh, that was a money hit right there.
Ooh. Oh,
6 hits.
oh,
Wow.
Aeronauts was so dirty, man. Oh my god.
9
15.
plus 6, 15 hits, yeah. And then on
11.
twos. Solid. That's snakes.
That's-
Should be
yeah.
snakes.
Yeah, they are dash 22. And that is what, 20 wounds total?
Yeah. I think his
So,
play
yeah.
is still to just not move anything. If anything, he might want to sidestep the aeronauts to the left. He's got to be careful though, because Shobek could try to do some sneaky surge shenanigans.
Yeah, this is when reforming is difficult against Empire Dust. When you do get in there and kill something, it's very,
I see. This is my issue here. I really hate that he didn't check a Pappy's status first. He needed to hit
yeah.
the wound first
to
because
know
now,
what. Yeah.
yeah, because now he can't reform those aeronauts as well. Because if he does a complete pivot, but Pappy still is flying, then that could get nasty.
Mm-hmm.
But if he had done a wound first, yeah, he could do stuff like this.
It's like do the combat against the guy who gives inspiring first. Think
Yeah.
about, you get to decide the order in which you do combats. So really think about that. It's like always a good tip for someone wanting to, get
Yeah.
better at the game.
It does look
7
like
hits,
he'll be
that's
able to
good.
put it into flank though, which is good.
Or
Yeah,
just
4.
do 4 damage to
And
with your
4 wounds, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Geez, that was what, 7 hits on 9 dice?
If he
Yeah.
gets a brutal 3, he could potentially kill him in one.
that
You
would
gotta-
have
yeah.
insanity.
Brutal 2, looks like.
Still, I
Yeah.
mean, still good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would need the full D3 brutal, 4 wounds, and then to roll a 12 twice.
Yep.
But
So yeah. Pappy's
And
two.
it looks like that reform puts Pappy in the aeronaut's flank, but he
Yeah,
can't
he
get
can't
to the
get
flank.
there.
So, yep.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
wouldn't be able to fit if he wanted to.
Protected.
yeah,
That's everything, right?
It's
Yep. On to
That's a
Eric's
good
turn
turn.
4.
a good turn
Well,
for him.
that was a good punch. That was as good of an
Yeah, it's
alpha
best you
as
could
he
hope
could
for.
do. Yeah,
I mean,
Yeah. That's about as good as he could hope for, right? I think,
Right.
realistically, in that turn.
like you're not going to realistically take off those mummies with the aeronauts in the front charge. I mean, he
No,
No.
you shouldn't.
did,
anyway.
he did the nuts with 9.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. He picked up 2 of 11 units.
Yeah.
And the center token.
Yeah. No, I think it was a solid turn for sure.
yeah. They were the easiest to pick up units, admittedly.
Yeah, but got to start somewhere.
Got
Yeah.
to start somewhere.
He did start putting some wounds on Pappy and mummies.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if the mummies roll hot on region, that could be rough for Tom, because then the heal can be redirected to the more important pieces like Pappy.
And what's interesting, if that unit with 9 damage countercharges those aeronauts, they're now in the forest, right? So
Yeah,
then
so
next
they
turn,
get slid over. Yeah,
yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
Tom, welcome back.
there he is.
Hey guys.
So that seemed like a pretty successful third turn for you.
That was like the dream turn.
Yeah, it's about as good as you could hope
Yeah,
for
this
that
is-
turn to
I was
go.
about to say,
right?
this is about as
Yeah, all those 3s and 2s on the blast. Just like, all right,
Yeah.
9 wounds, 11 wounds. I'll take it, especially since I was pretty sloppy about, with Surge, you never want to really angle your units, and like I did, and I just wasn't really thinking about it. So I got really lucky he rolled a 3 on those Edge Grenadiers, or else I would have been in big trouble.
Over on the right, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I feel like I'm in a pretty good position. It really helped.
You do have your 2 tokens across and down in the corner where nothing's getting to them, and you're holding the center token. So yeah, scenario-wise, pretty solid.
Yeah, it might
Pappy
be
being
the
pinned
case
is
like.
key.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, Pappy being pinned is key here. Just freeing up the whole left flank now.
Now, Matt
Yeah.
noticed, like we were talking about it. Did you just not think to do the combat first with Pappy to see if you did ground him before doing the other combats, or you just didn't care? Or...
Yeah, no, that was a stupid mistake. I just forgot he was there. I was like, all right, I need
Yeah.
to do this combat first. I was like thinking that the
Yeah, this
whole
is
time. And then I was
Yeah.
like, I got excited about aeronauts. So I was just like, I want to roll another aeronaut. And I was
His
like,
eyes
oh,
got down.
shit, I don't even know how to reform now.
Yeah,
So
popping the skeleton board is definitely big.
Yeah.
John Green
Yeah.
in the comments talking about the real estate. And I'm like, yeah, that's important.
Man, when those aeronauts go off, man, that's got to make a man feel good.
Or bad.
Yeah, our bad.
Depending on what side of the board you're on.
Yeah.
I think Eric forgot that I could charge +1 wild charge. I mean, I've been reminding him, but I think he may have forgotten about that with my infantry, but not that it's a huge deal. So yeah, I'm just going to try to hold on to the center token, maybe run it away. I don't really know, and just I'm not going to kill Shobek unless I get really lucky. So I'm just assuming he's going to hold those two the whole game. But I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot.
All right, great.
Yeah.
Any other questions, guys? Nope. All right. Well, good luck with the bottom half of the
good
game,
luck,
Tom. We'll see you back here when you guys are done.
Okay, I'm gonna have to play quick because my clock is running down. So, all right, thanks, guys.
Okay.
Yeah, they're both. I mean, Thomas. Yeah, Thomas bottom of the turn, so
Yeah.
he's still. I mean, they're still both good on clock.
I think so. And as this game goes, it's going to get quicker
Yeah,
and
it's gonna get
quicker,
easier.
right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
That last turn was the thinking turn.
Yeah,
After
it's-
this, it's just the moves are basically decided for everyone from here on.
Yeah.
That's typically turn 3 and 4 the
Yeah.
the heavy ones.
yeah, when you're doing a full engage like that, you got to really think about
yeah.
every single angle with every
Mhm.
unit, you know?
Yep.
Um,
And now you're in. So
Yeah.
yeah. Now it's just as units start disappearing, the choices get easier and easier.
Yeah. It is what it is at this
Yeah,
point,
right.
you know?
Right.
Tom did bring up a good point, which is like so. I always try to come to cast unbiased in all instances, and like obviously, like I know Tom personally, but also this is an EOD list, so I'm always going to root for the home team. But like, I always also kind of like from a casting perspective, I'm always like. Sometimes you can see a game, you're like, okay, so this game is over, and it starts sliding downhill, right? I don't think this game is over, but I'm also really not sure how Eric wins. Because, like, I can see ways to where he can start picking up units back, to like where he can start making what I would normally say, like, if this was just kill or dominate or anything like that, I could see routes for Eric to win. The problem is, I don't know that Eric has a good way to get to that token.
And for me, if there was nothing in the backfield, but Tom still has another Iron Beast and 2 more Aeronaut units just sitting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be tough to get back there, grab that token, and Tom still has some answers in the backfield.
Yeah.
Because I think he just blocks Shobek for the rest of the game, and then if something's going to get that token, it's going to be a mummy that then is going to It's going to take aeronauts in a flank somewhere. You know, it's going to be hard to pick up that token and not give Tom a flank with a unit, just based on where it is.
Yeah. If there's a mistake that I think has been key thus far, like, and it's a small one, but it's the mummy, it's the Pharaoh Chariot. The Pharaoh Chariot never needed to come closer to the center of the board, especially with that 19-inch movement. He was in a great spot threatening to Iron Resolve, or sorry, not to Iron Resolve, to Alchemist Curse the units from the side without being threatened by them. If they did decide to come and chase the Pharaoh Chariot just says, screw you, I'm going to go around you. So he doesn't care. But by doing this move to the center and then suddenly turn and move away, he's now got the Pharaoh Chariot in a position where his turn 4 is just wasted. It's not doing anything.
Right, because he can't. he
Right.
can't cast anything at all because he doesn't have line of sight, and if he moves, then he's not.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And if that chariot had gotten lucky and wavered those grenadiers last turn, then they're not there to ground Pappy.
Right.
And it's tough. I mean, when you're playing at this level and you have a rough nerve roll like he had with that mummy unit, followed by the following turn, Tom has a lights out turn. It can be, you're probably not going to be in a good spot at that point.
Yep. I will say that basically at this point, every unit of Tom's except the 2 holding tokens are just thick chaff for the rest of the game.
Yeah, it's just getting,
you're feeding shit to
because that's the trick.
Alive.
Yeah, no. It's all about the win condition. The win condition is hold on to that token. Everything else becomes irrelevant now.
Scenario
play. One of the
Remember,
reasons I don't like push.
Yeah, always think about that's another thing when you're talking and you're wanting to get better in the game. Oftentimes the best thing to win the game is not kill your opponent. It's to go do something else. So always be thinking about that scenario play. And he has the drops, right, to just feed stuff to Shobik or those mummies for the rest of the game. It's just like, here, kill these halflings as I try to run away.
Right.
Can he get to the Iron Beast? Was it in the flank or was it not in the flank is the question after the withdraw. That looks like
that's
in
front.
the front.
Oh, it is the front. Okay, so if he can do that, I think that's the best move he can do there. Because those 2 combined have actually got a pretty damn good chance of picking up the Iron Beast in one turn.
He can see it on the withdraw, and he can get to the front. So
He's just got to be able to make contact with it.
Yeah, it's a little bit forward, so it's.
Oh, okay.
What is it?
It is just slightly forward. Yeah.
It should be parallel. Tom didn't reform. Yeah. It should be identical.
Yeah, there shouldn't be any way that he could get. Well, he could get there, but but they're.
I do think that's a good play though, because he picks up the Iron Beast that frees up Shobik to start trying to chase down the token.
Yeah.
At that point, Pappy just becomes thick chaff, but Pappy's going to heal a wound there in the process, be down to 17 effectively. With a heal potentially following that up or drain life from the soul snare, which could easily pick up the grenadiers that flew over to challenge Pappy. So I don't think that's a problem.
See, I wonder if taking the Pharaoh past the hill and instead be to the left of that 0 terrain, if that would have been I mean, it's hard to tell with a movement, but the Pharaoh is good there. But if he had been able to get him maybe up there, he could have been threatening sort of the token area.
Yeah, this needed to happen 2 turns ago is basically what I'm thinking. Like the Pharaoh needed to be in this kind of position, threatening basically the entire board, and forcing stuff to address it, forcing stuff to get smashed and ground down by it. Or at least turning, and then the Pharaoh proceeds to just turn and move another 9 inches and turn again, continuing to threaten the whole board. Because ultimately, that's what's happening here. Is that the problem is that even with that a Pappy play, the reform following that is a Pappy turns to the left is probably his best option. But then he's got an Iron Beast, Grenadiers, another Grenadiers, or sorry, not Grenadiers. He's got 3 units of Aeronauts that could all see a Pappy at that point, which from all different directions. So he's just running out of options. This is the risk of these hyper elite lists. Like Tom's turn being so good has removed enough space that now Tom's list does have the option to get to those flanks, which is what he needs to actually win the combats. And he can because he just has so many pieces.
Yeah.
The Aeronauts are only speed 7, though, so I'm not sure that those furthest 2 back can actually get to Pappy.
Oh yeah, they are.
They will
Wild
probably
charge.
have wild charge because of the engineer.
Pappy, feel my cloak.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good cloak.
That's a really good cloak. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units.
That's pretty good, man. When you can
That's
cloak.
my record. Is 7 units.
7 automatic wounds.
Yeah.
Mummies heal 5 out of 9, it looks like.
That's a pretty good regen roll.
That's a juicy regen.
That is a
That's what Eric
juicy
needs
as
to
hell
get back
5
in
regen.
this.
Yeah.
So the Pharaoh's committed, so he won't be healing though. That's important. So he basically is saying that he wants to try and guarantee that the aeronauts go away more than he thinks that it's worth healing those mummies.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the right call, because if he doesn't, then the aeronaut up top murders the mummy in the flank.
Yep. He needs to pick up that piece this turn.
Yeah.
Well,
That
he's gonna have the what do you call it, the soul snare going in there too.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
he's good.
probably the best option here. Either that, or he tries to force the token to drop to get a chance to pick it up.
Mhm.
Oh, that too, yeah.
Which is the direction he turned it, so that's probably what he's
Yeah,
going
do
for.
that.
You could keep it straight, man. I think it's that's hard to say, because if he can shuffle that token further back, he doesn't want to give it a chance to just walk away, basically. But at the same
Right.
time, he does need to.
Those aeronauts in the forest there need to go.
Yeah, I still think hexing the Pharaoh was the right call last turn, just to basically take it out of the game for an entire turn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Moving
Alchemist,
on to
I mean,
shooting.
that Alchemist curse on the aeronauts, if he wasn't hexed, that's 9 dice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He could have picked that unit up with any sort of solid roll.
He is going for the token carrier with the soul snare.
Alrighty. So he thinks the wounds are more important.
They are only 11-13. So
So good hits.
Yeah.
3 wounds, so 4. No
Those ones are
additional modifiers, but he's looking at a 9 twice. Yes.
Yep.
Takes the mummies down to 1. I like that. So
Yep.
trying to do as much as he can, just in case the unit does get smacked in the flank.
anybody want to sum up the game for Paige?
Oh,
John's on it. Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, John.
So page in the bottom right, that's Tom's unit of push 2 tokens scoring, and then they're sort of just fighting over the middle, and Shobuk has the EOD's 2 tokens.
The Pappy was healed back to.
Last turn, Tom
Yep.
had an amazing turn with all his
Yeah.
aeronauts. They just exploded in the mummy event. There's some skeleton evaporation.
All right. And Eric does
Picks up.
pick up the Grenadier's finally on the far
I'm
right.
gonna try to shuffle. Oh no, just does a pivot. Okay.
Just pivots.
I think
Yeah.
that's fine.
Turn towards the strike zone.
Yep.
All right.
I would have liked to have seen this one resolved first, almost, but
Sure. Pharaoh is hindered, but the mummies are countercharging. These
I mean,
the
this
mummies.
is his key combat of the round, I think, right here,
Yeah,
right?
this is the one that needs to go his way.
Pharaoh doesn't give a shit. Though, why is he rolling 3s to hit?
Yeah, he needs to. It should have only been.
Should have been forced to hit there, but that's okay.
Yeah. So that's
No
5 more.
No ones, so no elite rolls.
Yep.
An 11 and a 4. Ooh, does the 4
Force
still
of
get him?
12. No,
Still,
they're fine because they're 13, 15, right?
Should be.
Yeah, they're.
I don't know why he picked them up so quickly. Hold up.
Yeah, they're. Were they not? They were inspired because there's the
The engineers right there.
engineer right there.
well, the 4 was a second, but they went so fast. I didn't. How much damage?
They
was
did,
even
he
on
did.
them?
He did 8.
5 and 8.
Yeah.
Or
so
no, 3 and 8. So 11 plus 4.
Plus-
That's 15. Okay, that should do it.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, because they're crushing at 3.
Yeah.
Okay. That
Yeah.
that makes sense.
The
Yeah,
one
those
thing
are
that
crushing
didn't make
damage.
sense to me is why the
They,
why the Pharaoh was hitting on 3s when he's hitting.
And he
They
put a
even marked
hit.
that he's hindered.
Yeah, I know. He put a
Even
hit
put- yeah,
token
even it's like, oh,
there.
they're
It's like the mummy's at +1 to hit, not the Pharaoh.
Yeah. Well, the
Um,
and the Pharaoh didn't take his elite rerolls. Did he roll the 1 to hit?
Yeah, he
he
did.
didn't roll any 1s.
They were only ones. Okay.
Yeah.
Really did nothing.
Hmm.
'Cause that one
Okay.
wound may have made a difference there, but that's okay.
Other mummies. These are the sharpness mummies, so they will hit on 3s. It's 11 hits out of 12 dice.
Take this,
So,
halflings. Just
Wounded on
murder.
2s, that's 11 wounds. So,
Disgusting.
and that'll pick him up.
And
He's
a
just
Oh,
easy
man.
peasy.
That was a good roll.
Yeah, a lot of hot dice to use on a halfling regiment.
Yeah, he picks up the grenadiers.
What?
Yeah,
He forgot to
I guess
roll the
he,
nerve roll.
he forgot to roll.
Oh,
the
I
nerve.
see. I
you
see.
forgot the nerve roll at the end of shooting. Yeah, so that does put the
Okay.
token on the ground.
Yeah, he wants to be careful there. I don't know that you want an iron
Moving
beast
forward,
on
moving forward, there's a little scary.
Yeah,
or the other grenadier unit.
Are the aeronauts
Or the-
from the
Yeah.
with the Iron
Yeah.
Beast.
Yeah.
Or the other aeronauts.
The other Iron Beast.
They may not be able to see it though. They'd have to snake a line through everything.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah,
you
because
won't be able to
everything's
see it.
tall.
Everything else is too tall. Yeah.
Yeah. I have a Pappy. A Pappy should pop that unit.
Should.
Yeah. Should average 7 wounds here, which is 11, which should be snakes. Bunch of shoulds. I'm a little surprised at the mummies and the pharaoh coming through there,
Should
but
be Shobek on the Iron Beast.
It's only 3, right? Shobek cut pressure 4.
Crush 3.
Yeah, so it's only 3.
Yeah.
It's a bad.
No longer crush 4,
No cannonball.
which is fine.
Yeah.
That's
Iron Beast
still
are 16, 18.
I think they're dash 18.
Oh, that was not what he needed to see.
Oh,
Isn't Pappy elite?
Not in
For
melee.
casting.
He's for casting.
Oh,
he
yeah.
used to
Only
be
for
12
casting.
attacks on 4s with elite, which was a
Okay.
weird melee. Yeah, but
I
they
haven't
just
played.
turned him
I
into a
don't think I
dragon.
played much EOD.
He
This.
doesn't.
He doesn't
Pappy
pop.
doesn't even pick him up.
That's
Ooh.
bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
The hero
That's bad.
That's
The-
dead
yeah.
Pappy.
Pappy is
Yeah.
dead.
The Iron Beast is 16, 18. It's actually not fearless.
No.
And killing Pappy too then makes Shobek in a bad spot too.
Yeah, Shobek's
When Pappy goes
Shobek's
down.
nervous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So everything went fine for Eric till he got to the middle.
He was having a really good turn actually up until
Yeah.
the Pappy combat.
I mean,
Yeah.
he heals 9. Those mummies go from 9 wounds to nothing.
To nothing. Yep.
Yeah, and
Makes the Grenadier drop the token.
yeah,
Yeah.
Everything was fine
Picked
until I
up
got to
one of the
Pappy and
aeronauts.
Shobek, and then
Yeah.
Yeah. Because now those tokens on Shobek aren't as safe. Tom does still have the threat of the Pharaoh in the upper left, which he has to do something about this turn.
Yeah.
If anything, he just uses the. It kind of depends on if the Pharaoh's half on the hill or not. Because if he's not, then he blocks line of sight with the Braves and
With
calls
the
it a
Braves.
day.
Yep.
Because if he loses
Hard
those,
to say.
well,
yeah, it doesn't. matter.
yeah.
And that's probably
Right.
something they hopefully decided, when he moved on to there, whether or not he was on the hill or not.
Yeah. If I had to call it just looking at it, it looks like he's off.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's more than 50% the way
Yeah.
it looks.
Yeah. Which is rough.
Yeah, because the Braves just sit there and be like, all right, fine.
Yeah. Another turn, the Pharaoh's having to waltz around stuff. Assuming that Tom can hex it as well.
That's why, again, I like it. If it had moved north, the Pharaoh had moved north of the hill
Yeah.
and been behind everything. Then he's now next turn. If he's not on the hill, he's charging. Whereas I don't think he's really going to get into the game.
Yeah. I think Tom has effectively shut out 270 points of Eric's army.
No.
Yeah.
Or more accurately, I think Eric shut out 270 points of his own army.
Yeah.
And then let Tom continue to keep shutting it out.
Yep.
This is now going to turn into the yin yang instead of the reverse crescent, where those mummies on the right, basically, I don't think Tom has the tools to remove them. I generally agree, John. Though, admittedly, with that kind of rolling, I don't think it would have made a difference.
he wouldn't have gotten it. Yeah.
Yeah, not with 4 wounds. But that's definitely not what Pappy's supposed to average.
No.
that was oof. That was big oof. I still think it's rough when a Pappy comes out of that, though, because worst case, like, even if he had popped that unit, like, the follow-up there's an Iron Beast right behind it and more Aeronauts. Like,
Yeah.
Right.
it would have been difficult to keep everything in the front, which would have been his best case scenario.
Right.
And
So
by
what's
doing
Tom,
so, yeah.
what's Tom got to do this turn? He's got to deal with the chariot on the far left.
Mm-hmm.
He's got to get something in between the mummies and that token on the ground, right?
And there, Dale Motley in the chat said he couldn't make it with a second pivot. So I guess that's why he couldn't get.
No,
So
Pappy
he
can't
couldn't
get in.
couldn't get it fully around since he had lost Nimble.
Right.
Okay.
So that makes sense.
That's fair. It would have been really tight. Like, it did look pretty contested.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
at that
I
point,
mean-
it's the better unit to pick up than the Grenadiers, and because he has to keep Schaefer from dying too. It's more important.
So bottom of turn 4, and Eric's got 16 minutes left on his clock, and Tom is down to 21.
Yeah.
So they are starting to run short of time. A
Gonna
little
try to
bit,
squeeze both Aeronauts in here.
possibly.
Yes.
I mean,
The
those
top
Grenadiers
one,
can still just bug out and get out of the way, right? Like, there's no
Yeah,
reason
yeah, they
for them
can-
to still sit there. They're
If-
not
if
wavered or
anything,
anything.
They play for turn 5 to start smacking the Soul Snare to remove its
Yeah.
ability to cast.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
take away some of the late game shooting for Eric.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, just land
They have
over
a
here
really
behind
good chance
things.
of killing it, because that's where that brutal D3 will actually matter.
Right.
Yeah.
I think you just take the fight there, buddy. I don't think you need it.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure like what because he can just fly and pick in place and
Right. It
Can
doesn't
you
matter.
check the arc on a Pappy for me? Okay, so they are in the front. I'm looking at the Aeronauts on the hill and wondering, like, if he's just trying to find ways to get those into combat this turn.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think that's what it was, but I don't.
Um,
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to.
I'm
fit.
wondering the aeronauts that have 1 damage on them. Can you click on them for their movement? Okay, because I'm just thinking like they don't even really have another great target, right? To charge.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, they can't
Yeah,
see
they
it.
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, they can't see anything.
It's tall ship.
Oh, absolutely. They want to charge and fight a Pappy.
yeah.
And the archers want to help out where they can.
Ooh.
And then we're going in the top of 5. Yeah, I mean, if one of those mummy regiments gets that second token, I mean, it's still. I think Eric still has some options here.
Definitely. Definitely
Yep.
some options. And
Ooh.
now Tom definitely has to do something to block up this chariot because he's just
Yeah.
shown his Iron Beast's rear to it, and it is in range.
I think
Not
he can
even
just.
that.
He just needs to sidestep the.
Yeah, I think that's why he checked that in the beginning of the turn,
Yeah,
sidestepping
he just sidesteps the Braves.
So the problem with that, check the range on the fair. He can see the rear of the Aeronauts too, the ones that just charged a Pappy. So if he doesn't pick up
Alright.
a Pappy, even if the Braves block, they'll only be height 5 against the Aeronauts height 7.
Right.
Yeah,
So he'll be able to pop a rear there,
everyone
which
will
is
see them. Yep.
love that character. It gets places.
Because I think it's going to come down to those 2 mummy regiments right there in the middle of the board. On
Yeah,
Tom has to deal with them because if they pick up a token late game, there's just going to be he doesn't have that punching power unless he can get the aeronauts into a flank or something to deal with that unit.
actually, it's worth noting that even with the Braves in front of the Pharaoh Chariot as it stands, he wouldn't block line of sight to the height 6 Titan. So that Pharaoh Chariot is just a pain in his ass right now.
All right. Yeah. So basically, he has to.
That's without even having to be on the hill. He can just see over all that shit.
Oh yeah,
he-
because
I mean, the aeronauts on
Iron
the
Beast
left
says height
side.
6.
Yeah.
It's 5, I think.
Is it only 5?
Yeah, it's only 5.
I think
so,
it's only 5.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well, that's
Yeah.
convenient.
Yeah.
It's one of the
Otherwise,
only
you'd be
Titans that's
right,
not height
yeah.
6. Okay, I wouldn't
Right. Halfling army, everything's short.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Everything's short, but it's still speed 5, you say.
They're very scampery.
Yeah.
those halflings.
Okay. Well, with that in play, then it's only the aeronauts that's the haha surprise move.
Right.
So he goes for the center one, which makes
Mhm.
sense.
Yeah.
Moves the Iron Beast in the position, which makes sense. The downside is that if the Pharaoh's in range, the Pharaoh could potentially block it up for the rest of the game.
I like that play though. Can you check the arc on the mummies? The uncombat mummies? Because at least this way the mummy just can't move more forward, pivot, and move towards the token. At least it has to be surged into that engineer. So I mean, he's creating these steps, right, that have to happen. So that's probably the best he can do right there.
And the Feastmaster has charged the Pharaoh.
I don't think that's a good idea either. He's got a block line of sight. He's giving it withdraw options is not what you want to do. Giving it more movement options. They can take that angle so tight too. He doesn't even have to do a full 90 to get around the character.
I mean, if he really wants the block line of sight, he has to move the aeronauts up and pretty much turn them the face and be like, all right, cool, come fight me.
Maybe he moves the brace forward and then he's gonna move the brace over anyway.
Well, I mean, there's got to be something better to do with those aeronauts, right? Somewhere.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where. Everything's already engaged on this side, but like even just moving it towards the center to try to hit some mummies next time.
He's not gonna lose nimble. He's still gonna be able to just pivot around the character. I don't understand this.
If they're still half on the hill there, then they're blocking the chariot's line of sight to against the Iron Beast.
Yeah, that does help at least.
All right, so shooting. So here's the Iron Beast shooting at some mummies.
Checking to see if it's in cover.
Checking the cover. Yeah.
Got one.
Okay. Yeah, might as well.
Right. One wound, which will Iron Resolve off, I'm guessing.
Iron
The
Resolve's
engineer
not close
shoots
enough.
as well.
Yeah, probably out of range.
Yeah, it is two more.
Oh, hey, the ones that
right.
stick are good. At least for until he regions and life leeches and
Starting
heals.
with all right, so that's just one wound from the Feastmaster. Here's some rifles against some mummies in the woods.
Doing nothing.
Nothing but getting in the way.
Yep. That's all I need, Jeff.
All right. Shobik in the center on the Iron Beast. Only got one in his D6 for number 10.
Only one wound.
Oof. Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
nothing.
Nothing.
Shobik is just so hard to kill.
Basically nothing.
Yep. You gotta have just critical massive hitting on threes.
And at this point, I think
crush.
Tom's just like, I just want him to not be able to move. You know?
Yeah.
You're gonna stay here.
Just
Because
try to play for that.
Radiance of life.
And he's still on his own board side. So if he can't get over, that's only 2 points, whereas Tom has 4.
Right.
Yeah.
So if he can't get Shobik across, Tom could lose the center token.
Aeronauts on mummies.
That's
3 hits.
no. 7 hits. He goes
Not great.
5.
Oh,
5
those
wounds.
are the elite ones. I see.
5 wounds and a 6 rolled.
This is the archers into Pappy.
Doing 2.
Did
2
a
wounds.
couple wounds.
Yeah.
All right, now the aeronauts on the flank. This is the big one.
Yeah, he needs to do some work here.
7. Ew.
5, 9, 10, 12. Yeah, not great.
Yeah, he's a good conversion.
Yeah, but 3s is still 8 wounds.
And there's your 8.
Average.
8.
Yeah.
So that's 10.
Definitely could have used a little bit of a higher blast there. That would have helped.
Now that's an
but
11.
just once. 8.
18.
Will not do it.
It was
9.
-19.
Yep.
So that is
That'd be
one short.
strong.
Where's that brutal when you need it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was in testing that unit.
Yeah.
did have
The
brutal.
best of the beta, they were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we did a game where Todd made me cry so bad I wrote 2 pages about why they shouldn't have brutal. And
Eric, thanks you.
yeah,
It
you're
does.
welcome.
It does at least theoretically make you have to use
Yep.
the grenadiers in some fashion.
What happened was he killed me, and then at the end of the game, he was like, "I forgot to even use brutal that whole time, and you still just wrecked my face." So it was like, maybe they don't need brutal.
Yeah. Oof. Yeah.
All right,
not
so
killing
turn
it Pappy
5.
there.
Interesting.
So yeah. So Eric does. Please tell me he sees this. There's no way he
Yeah,
does
he's
not
checking.
have 19 there. Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
He didn't even have to withdraw. That was absolutely unnecessary. That was just showing off.
Yeah.
I can get you 18 inches instead of just the 17 that I could have done from the character. Yeah, that plus 1 speed, man, it gets you.
That hurts.
It's very fast. And that's probably a dead unit there. Pappy can
Oh
finish
yeah,
off
big time.
Yeah.
the
Finish
unit
off the
right in front of
rifles.
him.
Yep.
Pappy is still probably dead after this. If anything, I'd use the Soul Snare to try to bump him up a little bit. I don't think the other units are in any sort of danger right now. I actually think Eric has a good chance of swinging this back at
Yep.
the bottom.
Yeah,
I
that's-
Yeah,
think,
because if he can
Tom
get
stalled out.
if he can get on that token with a mummy regiment and just castle up on that, it's going to be really difficult.
Yeah,
Well, if he could pick up the token and get it onto Tom's side, that's
It's
4
a draw,
points, right? That's a
Yeah,
draw.
it
Yeah.
would be and then it's just, can he hold Chobik back?
yeah. Because
Because
realistically,
he's
this
not going
turn,
to kill
so
Chobik.
the fair trade should pick up the regiment of aeronauts on its own, basically. Especially with Cloak of Death in the mix. Pappy should pick up the rifles. He should have picked them up last turn, but he should definitely pick up this turn. Chobik probably doesn't pick up the Iron Beast, but he does start putting some more wounds on it. The real trick for me is what he wants to do with the mummy regiment that is freed up on the right.
In the forest. He's
Yep.
Forest
looking
was
at the
just going.
overrun.
Yeah. Because the Pharaoh is his only surge caster. And if he's surging, he's probably not blocking up the other Iron Beast.
Right.
He can guarantee the aeronaut. I still think I'd just guarantee the aeronauts and just take them off. I think. But alternatively, because aeronauts would be, they're 15 tops, so it'd be a 14 getting hit by, and that's the +1 to hit skellies or the +1 crush skellies.
These are the strength ones. These are the sharp ones.
+1s. So 3s and 3s on 12 dice. So he's looking at like 8 wounds. No, I can't do math. 7, 6, 7-ish.
And they are, what, 13, 15? Yeah, 13, 15.
Yeah, so it's like a 7 twice. It's not a terrible chance. And then he should, if he soul snares it, then I think he's in the money. And I actually think that's the right call. I think you soul snare those aeronauts and let the mummies turn to face the token, the ones that are in the forest. So you can start prepping for that.
I think he's trying to soul snare around to face the other way. I think he might be trying to get rid of the grenadiers in his backfield with him.
Yeah,
this turn.
I don't think that's even important right now. So much as picking up that one of the only units that can actually remove his pieces.
I think at this point, so whoever picks up that middle token, like he needs to
Right.
try to find a way to pick it up this turn. Otherwise, the Iron Beast is sitting on it, and then, that's a lot of nerve.
He needs
at
to pick that
defense
up.
6.
And get Chobik across is the other problem. Which that's going to become a lot easier this turn when the board evaporates.
Sure, yeah.
So yeah, I definitely think this. I think he's trying to be fancy here, and I don't know that that's necessary.
Yeah. He withdrew Chobik from the Iron Beast. I'm not sure
I don't
why.
think you do that. Yeah, I think you just keep smashing the Iron Beast in the face until it disappears, which will be a lot easier next turn.
That was a regen roll for the mummies that moved through the woods. Right,
Alright,
just trying to put Shobik into that flank. Yeah.
Yeah, this will guarantee that, but
If you snake,
now
it's really bad.
Right.
Well,
yeah,
I mean-
and you're removing time to remove the Iron Beast. He kind of needs to get. He can't just. Eric's issue right now is actually getting those tokens across. It's not picking up the one in the back. I think he can do that pretty safely by the end of the game. The issue is getting
Right.
Shobik across.
Right.
With only
Because getting the middle token
one
just gets
turn
a
after
draw.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And with 2 Iron Beasts in the way before you can do that, it's not easy.
This could be
So maybe
interesting.
he's trying to do some weird, like if he backs up with the mummies here and then overruns with Shobek to shoot him forward, to then
Yeah,
just walk forward and around.
out
There's
of
a soul
arc of
snare on the grenadiers.
Yeah, that should be a pickup. 3 wounds, or no, 1 wound.
Yeah. No, they're defense 4. Yeah. So that's 3 wounds.
Oh, okay.
So that puts them at 5, and they're 11, 13.
Yep. So an 8 will pop and a 6 will waver. And realistically, I don't know if he do Pappy's cloak?
He did.
surging
Oh,
down into the character.
I don't know if he did clip Pappy's cloak.
The soul snare healed Pappy, so that's why some tokens were moving there. He took 3 wounds off of him.
Yeah.
Yep. And then the Pharaoh on the other side surged the mummies into the engineer. If they kill him and overrun a couple, they can hindered. If they kill him, they can overrun a couple and land on that token. This is probably heal on a Pathis. That's only going to be 1. Leaving him with 5 wounds.
This is a case where the aeronauts that are kind of chilling in the upper left-hand corner last turn, and admittedly, this only works if Tom sees the rear.
I think that is a waiver on those aeronauts. I think that's only a 12. Yep. So they are wavered, but not gone.
Yeah. Not.
No, they're 13, 15, aren't they?
super.
Yeah. No. The aeronauts.
No,
are
they're
going to be 11, 13.
Oh, okay, yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
You needed a 6 or 7 to waver. 8 would have killed.
So it looks like probably time for okay. Here's the chariot in the rear.
It does 12 wounds. Yep, 12 wounds.
Yeah, they're dead.
Yep.
So easy pickup there.
Pharaoh Chariot finally earns some points.
Finally in the game.
What is the call to arms clock rule dice down when you clock out?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, it stays down.
Because his clock is start. I mean, we still got a couple more turns. Maybe I would start trying to keep that in mind if I was him.
Yeah. He's at less than 10 minutes.
Yeah.
With at least 1 more turn to play.
I mean, probably still good, but just once you get into that sub 10 and you have 2 turns left.
Yep.
You got to think about that.
Yeah. Wouldn't be fiddling too much with stuff.
Let's see.
All right, so here's the mummies hindered. That's the elite reroll. Still missing. So this is on the engineer. He's
only 2.
only 2 wounds on the engineer. 2 wounds on an engineer. Engineers are 10, 12.
He's fine.
He is fine. So that will hold him off the token.
Shockingly, not actually that surprising, all things considered. He actually rolled almost average. He only really missed out on like 1 elite hit there. He just whiffed it on the wounds.
Oh.
Oof.
This is not like this game was, as John said, on a knife's edge. Oh, he still took him out.
Well, because the Shobik wounds in the flank. He had 6
Yeah,
times.
he doesn't need to do anything else there.
Yeah,
Shobik did like 12 wounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the question is, see, I don't know that I like that. I would have tried to sneak Shobek out if I were going to do that and risk
If you
the
can-
flank.
You can walk forward 4. I think you can pick up that token.
I guess
Oh,
he's
man, this
playing
is
for
tight.
the. He
Unless
does
he's got a
have
s-
the surge, so maybe that's his play to get him through. You just got to get those tokens through. And I don't know how he does it with only one turn. If he gets a turn 7, I think he's fine. If he doesn't get a turn 7, I think he might actually be in trouble.
If he gets a turn 7, he might clock out though. He's down to 6 minutes.
Yeah. Let's see it.
So did he
It
not?
ended up being it ended up being a
That's
3.
a 3.
Okay.
So that does not pick up the token. That is an inch short of picking up the token.
Yeah.
So that means
Which
next turn the
that's
Iron Beast
pretty-
gets it.
Yep.
pretty rough because then he throws the Iron Beast into those mummies and the character just chills where he's at.
Yep.
He will be able to withdraw and do the weird finagle charge to get the Iron Beast in the flank with the mummies. So I actually don't know if the Iron Beast wants to pick it up.
And how would he get the Iron Beast in the flank with that unit?
He just backs up the minuscule, like 0.5 millimeter base. It meant to be more than 0.5 millimeter, but then basically pivots around the center and clinks it on the corner.
See, I don't know if there's part of me feels like
He
it's
may
gonna
not be able
too,
to.
Yeah, he
to
may
wield,
be
yeah.
too far for
So
that.
Yeah.
there goes a Pappy's cloak of death, and now here's a Pappy's on these rifles. Ugh, not a great roll, but still going to be 5 wounds
This Pappy's just not rolling hot for him.
and a 4.
That's been a pillow fight over there with Pappy and
Okay. Picks him up on the rear.
There you go.
It's close. All right. Well, that's not entirely surprising, honestly. But getting Pappy freed of all that crap is
that
definitely
really
important.
hurts. Him being alive right now definitely does hurt.
Yeah. I will say so the problem here is that if Tom had spotted the rear with the Pharaoh, he could have just he then can move the other Aeronaut unit forward without consequence.
I wonder if he was
because-
just so sure. Oh, I'm going to kill him. It doesn't matter, and I'll reform.
Right, maybe
Maybe he just was.
reform.
He got a little lazy and didn't hedge the roll and was like, "Oh, I'm just going to
Yeah.
kill it."
I mean, at that point, the other reason to move the Aeronauts forward is regardless of if he kills it, reforms, any of that, it's target saturation.
Yeah.
The Pharaoh's going to get something.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if it gets the other Aeronaut unit, then it's not getting the one at the bottom. If it gets the one at the bottom, then it's not getting the one at the top. Because now I think the top Aeronaut unit's just out. Like, it's done for the game.
I believe that's Snake Eyes on the halfling rifles in the forest, so they will stick.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that is really that.
Not a relevant snakes, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Not
I think
really.
it's annoying.
But that
but
will
it-
bring us to the bottom of turn 5 with 3 minutes and 40 seconds left on Eric's clock. So he
Yeah.
will need to know exactly what he wants to do in turn 6.
Yep.
Tom, not with a ton of time either. But I mean, grounding Pappy, blocking up a token.
I don't know if he wants to try and charge the
Delaying
Iron
Shobek.
Beast. Yeah. There's a part of me that is just imagining Tom being like, "It was all looking so good last turn,
Yeah.
and then my army vanished."
Right. I just had to sit back and not lose my entire army. And then I lost almost my entire army. Yeah,
Okay,
that's
so we did have enough to get a Pappy. There we go. That was
Were they
pretty
on the hill when they charged or no?
probably.
Okay.
Um,
Because that should help, get guaranteeing a damage having the TC if it was
Yeah.
on the hill.
Yeah.
Goes
Uh,
into
check the arc on that Pharaoh chariot. Oh, that's sexy.
Yeah.
He's got the flank of every fucking unit he wants,
Take your
and
pick.
can see all of them.
If you got time to roll the dice, go for it.
now.
Yeah.
Could the Iron Beast had flank charge the mummies along with the other Iron Beast?
Possibly.
Yes. It absolutely can. It still can because it does a withdraw 1-inch pivot charge.
Yeah.
Easy peasy.
And then if you were to kill that, you could then just reform to have it
Turn
facing
and
like
reform.
X right where it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't actually dislike that.
Mhm.
Because that's their D6 plus 10. They hit on 4s.
Fours,
2?
yeah, 4s and 3s.
Yes. They aren't charging off a hill. So
It's uphill both ways.
yeah. So no Thunder's charge there. Yeah, Aeronauts are just like we turn 7 relevance.
Right.
Or I guess turn 6 relevance. They are actually still in this.
Yep. But once again, Tom is going to start running the clock issue, so
Yeah.
he needs to.
I think that's
both players
fine
need to
there.
be very decisive
Yeah.
in turn 6. They need to know exactly what they need to do at the beginning and not to waste much time thinking.
I like Jeremy's suggestion of smack Pappy to keep him stalled, pick up the other token, and pivot. And then it's still rough because the Pharaoh Chariot is in just such a great spot here where it can hit the flank of, I think, and his fat base may actually come into play here against the one that's facing off against Shobik. And that may be the reason not to flank the mummies here, because if he can't fit against the flank of the one fighting Shobik, then I don't think Shobik has any possible way of getting those tokens through. I just still don't think he picks up the Iron Beast next turn without help. And consequently, Tom killing the top Iron Beast doesn't, Eric killing Tom's top Iron Beast does not win him the game. He needs to push Shobik through.
Yep.
And Tom needs to do everything he can to prevent that. Yeah, there we go. Just create a new one. Just create a whole new profile. Just put a fresh one down.
Yeah, you don't
This
have
is
time on the
such,
clock for that.
and this is so hard about like when you're low on time, right? Because you get to this moment in the game where every little tiny move, every little angle is going to determine the victory, and you keep looking over, and you're like, I don't have time, and it's just very difficult.
This is definitely tighter than I would have thought it was. It got a little swingy in the middle there. It looked like Tom had a very good starting turn, and then
Yeah, I'm not sure. Like,
then he fizzled the second one pretty harshly.
neither of those characters were that he was just checking measurements on are mighty though. So I don't know.
I just wonder,
bothering
John, that
to
if he
like
picks up if he picks up the mummies with both of the Iron Beasts, if the Iron Beast in the flank just rotates and it does the same thing as it's still blocking Shobik, I wonder.
If he gives Shobik a flank, then it will die. The
No,
problem
I mean
is that
he has to pick up the mummies and reform, basically.
right. So the issue becomes if he charges the mummies because he's moving so slightly to the right hand side of the board. At least
Can Shobik scoot around him?
Well, not even about Shobik scooting around him, but rather the Pharaoh Chariot then gets the flank, which guarantees the kill, which guarantees Shobik overruns, and that overrun takes him over the center.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure that's all it would take if he isn't over already. Actually,
no, they're checking. He's not.
He's actually
Well,
far from what it looks like.
The center token hasn't moved. I don't think.
Yeah, no, it's
at
been
all.
there. It's well, the aeronauts picked it up, but then got shot off, right?
But then died. Yeah.
Or sorry, not the aeronauts, the grenadiers. Picked it up.
Grenadiers, yeah.
With that in mind, kill the mummies, because then it becomes the same problem. Tom has 3 tokens, and Eric both has to push Shobik across the table and kill both Iron Beasts to win, basically. Which I don't think he just has. I just don't think he has enough time.
Yeah, that's
both clockwise and turn wise. Like even if he had infinite clock, I just don't think he has.
Oh,
enough.
interesting.
Not picking up the token. Yep. Just camp on it. That way you can't just kill him in combat. Yeah. And get it. You gotta kill him and walk onto it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I think you don't countercharge with the. Oh, I would have left it there.
Yeah, but there's no way to withdraw it, so it'd be another hindered charge. There's not enough space, so I think that's his only way to get away. But yeah, I don't know why you bother.
Well, what I'm saying is, by standing there, he forces another hindered charge out of those mummies.
Yeah. Otherwise, the mummies are going to hinder flank the
Iron Beast. Yeah.
The Iron Beast. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't quite get that. Maybe he's got a plan, but
5s and 4s. So it's not terrible.
So I think it was an engineer shooting at the charioteer and getting nothing.
He literally couldn't, even if he maxed out damage, it would do nothing.
Right. So combats. Let's see
Danger
how this
clock,
goes. Right.
because if he had left that guy there, even if he kills it, they can't overrun into the side because of where the other mummies are.
Yeah, they'll bump the mummies.
So I'm not quite sure why he moved that.
Yeah. It's like worst case scenario, he's hindered both times.
Yeah, both times, right? And then,
Yeah.
like if you withdraw the front mummy so that you can kill the character and then get a flank as opposed to getting a front, it's still on 5s.
Can
So
you click on the middle Iron Beast, or the one facing off against Shobik?
Sure.
Yeah, no, the Pharaoh Cherry can definitely fit against the flank.
All right, so the rifles do ground a Pappas, but do not pick him up.
That's very important.
But he's on the ground, so very important. All right, Iron Beast on Shobik. Gets a 3 on its D6.
So the reason I think he did that is I think they determined that the Pharaoh Chariot can get to the flank of the one fighting Shobik as it is. Because if you click on the center Iron Beast, you can see that it hangs past the corner of the Braves on the edge, the flank.
Oh, he misses getting the mummies by 1.
Oof.
7 wounds and a 10 roll, but they are -18. So he nearly picked them up.
Yeah. But assuming the Iron Beast gets killed by the flank and Shobek, which is definitely possible, plus potentially support from a Soul Snare, which, given what turn it is, I suspect that's his best option. If he picks up the Iron Beast, now he can't overrun Shobek past the line. He's going to get stuck up against the Engineer. Which is why, this is now the better play, is to try to see if he can squeeze Shobek through. I don't think he'll be able to do it. And more importantly, I don't think he can kill that. Well, with the unhindered mummies now, who could actually get a rear. Like, that's... God, he was such a bad spot.
Yep. But the beast did not pick up the token, so he's got to kill it and step onto it.
So if he had charged the mummies, they would be dead, right? And if he had left the character, then the front mummies would be dead. The Iron Beast would be facing pretty much exactly where it is, and there'd be a character in front of the other mummies.
I still think your play was the correct play, Jeremy, for the record.
Yeah.
It was absolutely the best possible option he had. Because the mummies in the forest now, they're actually, it's not going to be a flank, it's going to be a rear. Because he's going to move forward and then pivot and then surge.
Hit that upper right corner.
Yeah, you should be able to angle it to where it's past the arc. And even if he doesn't, it'll be an unhindered flank, which is almost as good.
I think they forgot to switch the clock.
Oh, that's huge.
Okay. I mean, they're also having to talk this one out a little bit.
Yeah, they both had about 3 minutes.
Yeah. It looked like they were trying to figure out where the final positions of units would be. I don't think Shobik can shenanigan through there. I think that's a lost cause. But I also don't think he has to. Yeah, this is the question. That's why Tom moved the character there.
Right.
Okay, so he's gonna not bother with the surge. That's fine.
So basically, the overrun is Shobik will hit the character and stop on this side of the board, and he hopes there's no turn 7.
basically. Yeah,
Well, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
that keeps it a draw
Yeah.
at best.
And maybe he decided to do
Tom
that.
needs
where-
no turn 7.
Maybe he said, "I want to play for a draw."
Oh, and that's why the engineer is behind the Iron Beast here, because now he can't walk. He might not
He
be able to
can't
walk forward
overrun
enough
from
to
the-
pick up the token.
Right.
And the mummy, the pharaoh can't pick it up. And if the other mummies pick it up, they're not across the table majority, so they won't get 2 points for it. They'll only get 1.
Okay, now it's making.
Yeah.
Now everything is beginning to make sense.
Yeah.
Right, because he can
Yeah.
shift all the rest of them up to give the bottom mummies enough space to walk forward, but he can't get them all the way across the line.
I mean, it's so much overkill on the right-hand steam engine when
Okay.
ultimately it's the one fighting Shobik that matters, because if he picks up the one fighting he needed to pick that one up and kill the engineer behind it, which he might be able to do with the Pharaoh Chariot. I don't like this. There's no point in doing that.
Right, because he does not have a line on that token, I don't think.
Right, because
No,
even if he
no.
picks it up, I think Tom's still... Well, it's a draw at that point, I think, right? Because it's 2 and then 2 tokens in holding because it's double.
Right, but
So it should be a
the
draw.
chariot doesn't have a line to pick up the
Yeah, I
token.
mean, if
so
it,
even
if it
walks
moves
forward, it can't.
forward, it won't touch it, right?
Because its geometry is a little more advantageous. If it could pick it up, it can be majority on the side and get 2 points for it. But
So
Yeah.
if he
Go all the way
loses
across,
the
I
Iron
think.
Beast, there's no way for Eric to pick up that token.
he can pick it up, but I don't think he can pick it up and get across.
And get it across. He
Got
needs
it.
to get it across.
So it'd be
Yeah.
4-3 basically, at the
Yeah.
bottom of this turn.
Right. Because the engineer should also
Snare.
stop the Pharaoh Chariot for the same reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was good positioning with the individuals.
Yeah, and that's some stuff that's hard as viewers. That it's hard to pick up that sometimes. So, but yeah, definitely really great.
What's going to be funny is after the game, Tom's going to get back in here, and we're going to be like, "Oh man, master
That's a
positioning
great
with the
move."
individuals," and he's going to be like,
He's
"What are you
like,
talking
I did
about?"
what now?
Yeah,
just
I
put
did
him
what?
somewhere.
I did what?
What
Yeah, he's
happened?
like, good player.
Yeah. Oh yeah, those
Completely
were
missed.
totally intentional. That's
Yeah,
exactly what my plan
totally
was the entire
intentional.
time. It wasn't accidental.
All right. So that's what 7 wounds from the mummies in the flank.
Did they switch the clock? Because
They did.
They did.
Yeah. Tom
Okay, so
ran
he-
down a little bit of his clock there, but I mean,
Yeah.
Okay.
see.
Tom ran down about 2 minutes.
Okay.
So
So Eric's got plenty of time.
Eric should kind of be at dice down,
they're going to be close. All right.
and Tom should have like 2 more minutes.
Oh, so Tom should have 2 more minutes. So like
Yeah,
Eric's
yeah.
at dice
Tom,
down now.
Tom had like 3.5 minutes when his turn actually ended. They just forgot to switch the
Okay.
clock.
Okay. Well, Eric's
Yeah.
done.
So he picks up that.
But at this point, like, let the guy finish his turn.
It looks like he's got it. Unless it has to be fully on, which I don't believe it does.
I think it's majority.
No,
It is
you have
majority
to
on.
be entirely off. You have to be entirely over for.
Is it
okay.
entirely for push?
Okay.
I hate push.
Oh, no, I just meant to pick it up because it's just a loot token, right?
Yeah. It's
Oh
loot
no,
token.
just
You
just
Yeah,
touching
yeah.
it, you can pick it up.
Yeah.
But do you have to
that's-
be entirely over the line to get 2 points?
yes. To get double
Okay.
points, you have to be entirely
Yeah.
over the line.
Then he's hosed without turn 7.
Oh, yeah.
Oh well, his clock's out, so he can't do anything.
Yeah, he can't do anything on turn 7.
Yeah.
But Tom's got less than. Well, Tom's got what 3 minutes.
Technically, it's 2
Theoretically,
minutes.
a little bit more. Yeah, this is basically all he needs to do is see if he gets a lucky pop on it there.
Yeah,
A Hail
turn
Mary.
7.
Fine. Eric
Yeah,
has
like-
all the ways in the world to theoretically move it. But I mean, yeah, the game is effectively already over
Right,
with dice down involved.
right.
But
so
Tom
it's
rolling it
5.
out there. These are the +1 to hit ones, or
What the
No,
air
he
ones?
was. He forgot. He was. Eric, I guess.
Oh, didn't do
I guess
the.
he's letting him do that combat.
I see.
Mm.
I don't think that changes where the aeronauts go. Realistically, I mean,
Okay.
Tom is the bottom of the turn,
Yeah,
and he doesn't want a 7. Like that's what it comes down to. If Tom has a 7, then Tom loses.
Yeah, at this point, I don't think anybody's going to have time to do anything at turn 7 at this point.
Yep.
Because Tom should have another couple minutes on his clock, but
Sure.
be really hard to go back and figure that out. But
Okay, so he hits.
at this point, it's just roll out the turn. So this is probably the beast, right? Shobek a 9.
Yeah, and
not going to get Shobek. And there's the aeronauts with 4 hits, right?
5 hits.
5 hits from elite.
That's what
12?
9, 10, 11, 12, yeah. It's 3, should be 8.
7.
Yeah, 1 under.
It's 7, and that's going to need an 11 twice.
Yeah.
And that does not pick it up.
6.
And everybody's a dice down, so that's pretty much game.
Yeah, you can't.
Yep. Should be dice down, but let's see if they roll for a 7 anyway.
Technically, even if you're at dice down, I think you can still roll for a 7, but
Yeah,
then you can't do anything.
Yeah,
Because it's
nothing happens.
right. It's a roll that is not on your clock. You pause the clocks to
Right,
roll
you,
it. So
you
there's-
pause the clock, and then
There
Eric
it is.
takes his turn. Oh, I'm at 0, so I can't do anything.
Yeah.
Right.
Same thing with Tom.
Theoretically, with dice down, it should be over.
Yeah,
in
see,
Tom-
that's
Tom's
my
favor.
question is on whether or not they're going to play the pack or if they're
Yeah.
just going to.
Say screw it. I'm not looking at the clock because
Right.
if with that theoretically, is it over half? Might be a draw.
Yeah, I think it's a draw.
That looks like majority over.
Well, it's definitely majority
All
over.
of
If it has to be entirely over,
I think it's entirely over.
I think even then, yeah, I think it is over.
my book is slightly too far away for me to grab.
And I don't know about, it's just like when you get clocks down to the end, I just hate the concept of dice down. I just
Right.
hate it because he actually rolled the nerve on the Iron Beast with the token like after the clock had run out. But again, you don't want to be that guy and be like, stop. I just, that's why it's just like that, the aspect of clocks is just so frustrating.
The one time that I ran out of time on a turn 6 that cost me a game, I ate it.
Yeah.
And I straight was just like, yep, nope, you just win now because I fucked up. It's like, ate way too much of my time.
What a close
Alright.
game though, right? At that,
Yeah.
it looked like Tom had put himself in such a good spot. And then,
Then you
Yeah.
pop the
Eric
Pappas.
played super well with his limited number of units and fought his way back.
Well, just like every time you play Empire Dust, if you don't pop something, it's your next turn is going to be
Yeah.
like, all right, I did 13 and it's gone. I'm at the units back. I healed back 10 12 units.
Yeah.
Or damage.
All right, we are waiting for the players to come
Sure.
back.
Yeah, that is another way to do it. If you run out of clock, you get to finish your turn, and then that's it. As opposed to
They are going to play a 7.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
So
Okay.
I think
All right.
Eric just wins. Well, maybe not. I don't know. I still don't think he hits Shobek. Well, with a Pappy free, he just flies a Pappy and punches the character out of the way. Like it's going to take some finagling, but
I don't think he can because he's in the.
is he in the front or the side?
I don't know.
That looks like a side to me. Yeah. So Pappy runs forward, takes the side of the character.
And then Pappy might be in the way though.
Oh, what are you doing? No. What?
No, to do
What?
that.
You can't fit
Why?
there.
Why? Also, there's no point. That doesn't matter. Kill the character and then overrun Shobek and then win. Theoretically. And you'll still put a Cloak of Death on the unit over there, so who cares? You're still helping. So how many
All right.
wounds has Pappy done with Cloak of Death?
Oh, it's got to be a record up there.
All right, so they're playing a
He's
turn
done-
7. So I guess that means the results at the end of turn 7 will be the game results, and they're not
Right.
just playing it for the heck of it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all. Oh, is he going to try to? What am I thinking? he can't see past the Iron Beast with the Soul Snare. So realistically, he's using the Pharaoh Chariot to try and cast it off the board.
I guess, yeah.
In which case,
yeah.
I would have used a Pappy's Drain to help.
Right. Well, and does the engineer have spell word?
Spell ward, probably.
Yeah, he does.
I'm guessing. Yeah, I'm guessing it does. So
The whole
it's not
whole list
guaranteed. I
basically
mean,
It doesn't say spell ward.
really?
I have.
Is it supposed to say
I
spell
know
ward?
the Tinker. Most of the Tinker.
Yeah, no, a lot of the
doesn't have-
Tinker stuff does not
doesn't
have
spell word.
It
Doesn't.
doesn't.
Aeronauts
Doesn't
have
say
Okay.
spell word.
Okay. Does his the Iron Beast has Aura spell word, so everything is spell word.
I think you have to. Don't you have to buy that though?
Nope,
Oh, right. Okay.
it's just
Yeah.
built in.
Yeah, it's just
Okay.
there.
Yeah,
I think that you could buy the Pride of the Shires, which gives it something
Yeah.
else.
Uh,
It gives it
yeah, yeah, yeah.
inspiring
and strong. I think.
I wonder
inspiring
if they're,
and headstrong.
I wonder if
yeah.
their thinking is turn 7. It's still not going to change the outcome of the game as
Yeah.
far as so now they're just going to play turn 7 for attrition. Maybe.
Is attrition a thing?
Well, I mean, I think that for like
It
not
is.
really.
It is.
tiebreakers
It's
and
a-
stuff like that.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
it's they're playing Northern King scoring, so it's not a delta. It's how
I'm
many
just
points you
I'm just
kill.
trying to think, and one of the
Yeah.
reasons why you could agree, let's just go ahead and play turn 7, even though we're clocked out because it won't matter. The end result is the same. But I will have to ask them because I don't, they obviously had a back and forth
I-
about it. But
And John
In-
Green says it has a pretty good comment why it does why it makes
Rush
zero
and
sense
then
to
slow
rush through
down.
turns to go through to get this to rush through turns and then actually play a turn 7.
And slow play the 7. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I will say I don't think there were any mistakes made in the 6 and
No.
the 5 and 6 turns respectively, outside of maybe the aeronauts getting reared by the Pharaoh. But I mean, I don't think that gets changed by the clocks on that one.
sure.
Right. Right.
I still think that was the correct play on Tom. Like, you take the flank on Pappy. There is no
Yeah,
reason
absolutely.
you do not take that flank. Pappy not dying was the shock.
Right.
Right.
I think if there was a mistake, it wasn't moving this other Aerodot unit forward and just saying, fuck
Yeah,
it, if the Pharaoh gets him, the Pharaoh gets him.
He didn't set up so that if he rolled under on Pappy, he had some defense. He just went
Some
for it.
follow up.
Yeah.
But I genuinely think he just didn't see the rear, and that's why he didn't do that.
Yeah, and that could be definitely the case.
That's on my list of questions for Thomas. Did he see that?
Yeah.
All right, this is going to be Alchemist Curse on the engineers
Yep.
behind the Iron Beast there.
He hits 5 times. Wounds 3.
3 damage.
And it's 10-12. A 6 will not get it.
Cool. So yeah, we're back to he picks up the Iron Beast, and then the results don't change
Right. Right.
unless they're
Still
agreeing
can't.
it's majority over.
You can't even get the majority over.
Yeah.
So it's a draw regardless.
Yeah.
I mean, unless
They're again
Tom
playing
could somehow spike a dice and
Are those
take
the,
up those.
and then pick up the mummies, right?
yeah.
the aeronauts
front.
live somehow and he kills the mummies?
They're 13, 15.
Yeah, they're 9 and 6 is 15. Yeah, they're dead.
Engineers don't inspire? No, they do not.
No, engineers inspire.
Oh.
Yeah, he
Should-
rolled a 10.
He did roll
You
there.
rolled a 10 and then a 6.
He rolled a 10 with the first
Yeah.
one.
So he'll have one more chance to kill Shobik, I guess, and take the tokens with
With
the Iron Beast. Oh, he hasn't done that.
He hasn't
combat.
done that. He hasn't done that.
Okay,
He hasn't done that
I was just
combat
gonna say,
yet.
how is the Iron Beast still alive?
the answer is time.
Yeah.
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 Rifles are wavered.
Yeah.
I mean,
This
these-
is a peak example of what happens when damage gets spread out against this type of army, though, because holy shit. amount of stuff that has come back up.
2 damage on him at the end of the game. Yeah, that's
Yeah. After
That's what
getting
I'm
down
telling
to
you
like,
about those mummies, man. It's just
yeah, they're chunk. That's for
Yeah.
sure. But again, I think this is the type of list they want to see because again, so much of this stuff is like low nerve,
yeah.
medium defense. Like
Yeah.
All right, there you have it. Chobik walks forward as far as he can and still is not across the table, so it's still a draw.
yeah, should still be a draw. And there is no way in hell you kill him with anything Tom has left.
No. In fact, you throw your 2 characters at the mummies, I guess, right?
Yeah,
See if
you
you
just
can pick
shoot
them up with shooting.
Yeah, it's more effective than charging.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Still probably not going to get them, right? Because even if all your shots hit, that's 8
Maybe
wounds.
yeah,
you still
you
need
still-
to hit twice.
He's still best case, which
Yeah.
is mathematically possible, but
yeah.
So you're
Unlike
saying
that.
there's a chance.
Those 18
I mean-
nerves, man, they're just nuts.
Big hero energy from the
Oh,
engineers. Nope.
I got
it's only
5 hits.
Well, he needed 11.
Oh,
No, 3 wounds. He needed 13.
yeah,
yeah,
can't
do
even
it.
break him.
Can't do it.
Yep.
No, we sit here and wait, and they're like, actually, we decided we're going to play an 8.
Yeah,
What?
yeah,
We're playing 8 now.
We're just going to go play 40K real quick, and then we'll come. Come on now.
yeah. Seriously, I have some more halfling aeronauts in the teleportarium. They're gonna deep strike. Down in.
So that is going to bring us to a draw.
Yeah, interesting game.
Yeah.
Should be a
Very
draw.
interesting game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
interesting game.
Yeah, I think if Pappy
Basically-
gets popped,
So basically, playing out the 7 just gives Eric probably another point for attrition.
Of
Or
attrition,
for-
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because he ends
Under-
up killing the
Under
Iron
Northern
Beast.
Kings, yeah.
Yeah, Iron Beast is another 200 points, right?
Yeah.
And then 175 for the
It
Aeronaut.
is
So, yeah,
210.
okay, yeah. So
And Aeronaut's
basically,
175.
with Tom had left, he probably got close to the full max 5+ for the kill bonus.
Hey, guys, so welcome back.
What a game, man. What a game. I needed a little bit more time. It was such a good play, him putting that character in behind the Iron Beast to stop Shobek's overrun.
Yep. It took us a while to work that out. We're sitting there watching. We're like, why is he putting the engineers behind the thing? And then as the rest of the turn started going, we're like, oh, wait a minute. That means he
here we
can't.
go.
He can't even if he. Oh,
Yeah, it was a good move. It was real good, man. Yeah, we were discussing the clock and everything. We're just like, let's just play it out. Same result, so
Yeah.
that's good.
Sure.
But I mean, in a tournament, not everyone's like super strict on the clock. So I think I played two of my games without a clock actually. But that was fun, man. It was
Nice.
fun. I killed a lot, but just those
Yeah, you
those
killed
little
pretty
engineer
much.
or those little guys running up the side. Couldn't
Yep.
do anything about them.
Yeah, no, I didn't even realize we were heading towards a draw on turn 7. I thought, for some reason, I thought the mummies had 2 tokens, but yeah, that was a crazy game. I don't know. It was a tough matchup, I think, for both of us in different ways.
Yeah.
So the fact that it turned out to be a draw actually isn't that surprising. It was tough for both of our armies to fight. I don't know how many wounds I did to Eric and he took off. I'd probably throw up in my mouth if I went back and counted. But
It was
that's what
it was
everybody
pretty
just does.
nasty, and the soul snare was on fire. Even like hitting on 5s with the spell word, like all of a sudden I'm hitting with 5 of them. It's like that's UB for you. What can you do? Yeah, that was a fun one though.
What did you guys think?
do you see the rear of the aeronauts with the Pharaoh chariot?
What's that?
Yeah, I think I was just overconfident. I think I could have blocked it if I just ran the Feastmaster in the flank. I was thinking about that, and I was like, nah, I'll kill it.
I was just thinking, Tom, that you were just like, oh, it's in the flank. I'm going to kill it. I don't even care. I won't stress about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was that
My-
sort of your thinking?
I guess my more forward thing with that was if you did see it, why not just move the aeronauts that were in the back forward? Because at that point it becomes a thing of like, yeah, the Pharaoh Chariot kills something, but it can only kill one thing. And then there's still an unit of aeronauts doing something. A unit of aeronauts? No, and is correct. An unit of aeronauts.
You mean move it up and pivot it or something?
Yeah, just to have it there. And like,
just
yeah,
have
he
it
could get a
blocked
rear on it or a
outside.
flank there, but who cares? He's gonna kill it. He's gonna kill a unit of aeronauts, but now you have two instead of one that basically sat there the whole game and then turn 7 meh.
Yeah,
That was really the only mistake that I was like,
I want to watch the replay. I guarantee that chariot was, if he was only movement 8, wouldn't have been able to make that charge. Like that Brew of Haste comes in so
Yeah.
often.
Yeah.
It was
get those
17
clear
inch.
chance. Was it?
yeah. I actually poked 20 because I was like, it's you withdrew, which you didn't have to do because you could have just charged from where you were.
Oh right, yeah.
And so I was like, oh look, he's showing off that he can withdraw and get it too.
That's so true. That's so true. That's 20 points well spent.
I was curious, Tom. There was the one point where you could have charged the mummies with one Iron Beast, flank charge with the other Iron Beast, and then if you killed it, reform the Iron Beast to be in that same sort of relative position in front of Shobik. Did you think about that or
5? It's bottom of 5.
I don't think I could have done that. I'll have to go back and
Okay.
look. But
Yeah,
I don't.
you could.
I may have just missed it, but I don't know.
I mean, it's hard, and just from
with
the angle,
how things worked out, if you had done that because you would have had to withdraw to do it, it would have been well. No, you could have still.
Well, he
probably
couldn't
the character there.
withdraw because that Iron Beast was not in combat.
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah,
what
but
it was.
Shobek was punching it.
No, because
Shobek was
Shobek
punching
flanked. Shobek flanked.
Yeah,
the
Shobek
aeronauts.
flanked.
Shobek flanked the aeronauts.
at one point.
That's why I
The
couldn't
turn
do
before.
I couldn't withdraw because
Come back up.
Yeah,
I
he
had
just
to.
you
flipped
may
back
have been able to
around.
see the flank though.
Because I had to pivot. I had to pivot Shobek past his point so that if he 90-degree pivoted, that he would still hit Shobek instead of being able to go straight to make that flank there. It was a tight game. I mean, I expect that with the way.
I was not talking about withdrawing. I just thought you could just charge without withdrawing at that point. Since Shobek
I don't think I
wasn't in
could
combat with you.
see, but I don't
Okay.
know.
Yeah.
But really great. It was a really great game.
Yeah, it was fun. It was
You had that one monster combat, Tom, when your stuff was just exploding, dropping bombs everywhere, and then it was like, oh man, Tom's in a really good spot. But then it's just like those mummies, man, just like
Nothing else dies.
Yeah, just staying in the fight and just
in the grind, and drain life, and heal and regen. It was tough. I probably
Were you worried after that
50 or 60 wounds that he took off?
Were you worried after that one turn, Eric, where he just had that really great, amazing combat phase up and down?
No, because I mean, I wasn't like super. I looked across it and I was like, well, I would have loved for like X, Y, and Z to happen. I would have loved for the Phalanx horde to stick, but I'm used to them getting popped. It's more about keeping the mummies alive and letting them grind everything down. And as long as my big pieces are still in play, like that chariot on the flank, he doesn't do much. Some turns with his threat range, he's just waiting, and then looking for an opportunity. When there isn't that nice flyer, he's alchemist cursing knights and stuff like that. Like he's just working the flanks. Sure. It was. I was like, well, this is about as bad as it could have gone this turn, and it still wasn't that terrible. I still had major pieces. I was surprised when he didn't pop Apothis in the flank. I figured I was going to lose him there. I was hoping that he would just swing on average and pop that unit, and then I could pivot. I don't even think my pivots were that great because the Iron Beast was still in the back. Like Apothesis would have been, his time was up regardless, and he just went in. And I'm just like, I need low blast this time. Like this is the one I need him not to be like throwing a ton of threes out, and just worked out that way. So
sometimes he gets tired.
I'll say that list that I was playing is not that easy to play. Like, I don't know. There's so many auras and
And angles, right?
The air-
You got to look
and
at
angles, and the aeronauts are
Yeah.
just so big. They're flyers, so it's easy to complete charges, but they're so
Yeah.
wide that it's really
Mhm.
hard to get combo charges and things with them. So especially when they're small bases like mummies and monsters and
Yeah.
things. But
That's what I find I like the most about regiment infantry is just preventing big charges like that. Like if you're out there with a horde, in Slave Guardians, you're going to double charge. You're going to get 2 of those in there and pop them easy. Mummy, you're not getting 2 in. Like I'm
Yeah.
going to make sure that you don't. It's best of my ability,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, the large frontage. That's what I was like. Well, he's only ever going to be in on 1, but yeah, that's the way the game goes.
Like you said,
I
you
think-
guys both had different challenges against each other's list, so it was an interesting matchup for sure.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I
really
think as
wanted
nearly
to
as we could
put-
tell, you didn't miss any rules, Tom, for anything. I don't think there was any part where like, oh shit, he forgot an aura or anything like that. Which
Yeah,
which sometimes happens. People
Yeah.
forget stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
that we missed the one Cloak of Death, and I was like, that would have popped them. And he's like, yeah, take them off. And then we remembered a hex late. Made sure he got that off.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, good friendly stuff. It was a fun game.
Yeah, you had that one Pappy like 9 wounder, or like what was it, 7, or was it 9?
Yeah.
It was 7,
That
yeah.
was 7. That was pretty good, man.
Yeah, it was the right spot for a big 75 mil base and a 6-inch cloak.
For sure.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
So
Yep, good displays of sportsmanship on both sides, letting people go back and do things they forgot. It's always good to see that.
man. That's I'm
Definitely.
super lenient with stuff like that, and live or on UB. As long as it didn't affect anything I did, or it doesn't change how you're moving things around, it's all good.
Right.
Yep.
Do we have any other questions for these guys? Or have we covered
so.
everything?
Matt, do you
Nope,
still
gotta
not
get the
believe in
points out.
halflings?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I absolutely still think they're trash.
Yeah.
Still pretty good, as evidenced by the fact that they were nerfed before release and a whole bunch of other stuff. But
Yeah.
I mean, it shows too, because again, it's you saw what units were still alive at the end of the game. It's all that defense 5, even 6. They just have a real tough time against high defense targets.
Yep.
And that's with the one unit in their list that does do that, which is the Aeronauts. So I do think Eric played it really, really well, where he did manage to keep, like, I don't think there was ever a time when the Mummies had more than one unit of Aeronauts in the front. Dash 18 is the most obscene nerve in this game for a regiment to have for all kinds of reasons. And defense 5 to boot. So, like, there's that. The Grenadiers ended up basically playing like gargoyles because, I mean,
That's basically what
that-
they are.
yeah, the Brutal's cute. It would have been great to see the Brutal get into play. Brutal D3 does help a lot against the Dash 18 because it knocks it down to maybe Dash 16.
Yeah, that brutal D3 is pretty scary. That's an
I just
interesting
could I could never fit them in with the aeronauts.
Yeah.
So that was
And the more
problem.
the more I see the
big.
aeronauts play, the more I begin to think about when you deny them board space, right? When you deny them real estate, it becomes that, and especially since there's speed 7 and not speed 10, I mean, it does make it difficult to get multiples of them in.
And really, to your point, as to why I have questions on it is, or questionable faith in the halfling list is, Aeronauts are still only speed 7, even at the wild charge on top of that. And this was against a list that's slower than them. This is against a list where they got to pick the fights. Against real Alpha Strike armies, Aeronauts probably not picking fights. And so, most of the time, it's really weird. I just don't know how to make that list work.
I don't either,
staring
but
at it.
yeah, that's why I'm playing it.
It's got
Yeah, it's fun to theory craft it all day, but I don't want to take up.
But it's fun when they
sleep on that.
when they explode, though. I mean, I imagine that, or it's fun
Oh,
for
yeah,
you,
that's
Tom,
fun.
when you're like, I hit
Oh,
you
yeah.
25,000 times.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, well, that was a great game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, man,
definitely
loved it.
great game, guys. Thanks so much
Yeah.
for letting us watch. I guess congrats to both of you on a draw.
Thanks for having
gentlemen.
me, guys. I had a good time.
I think you might be the first Nerd Hammer guy to not lose. On a streak.
Yeah,
3-1.
we're 0-3.
Hold that
and
over.
we're 0-3-1. So
You can hold that over the whole rest of the club now.
the problem is I have one of the losses.
You're bringing it back, man. One step at a time.
Yeah, one step at a time.
All right. So again, thanks so much, guys. Good luck in the remaining 2 rounds of the tournament. Coming up on Dash 28 Live, we should have some 5th round matches for you once they get posted next week. And we will also have the Sweaty Gigante tournament for you guys next Saturday. We should have matches from all 3 rounds. So keep your eyes open for that. I'd like to thank Tom and Eric for letting us watch their game, and Jeremy and Matt and Steve for hanging out with me and chatting. Had a great time. Always good to see you guys. And thank everybody at home for tuning in and checking us out. Until next time, I'm your host, Mike Atkins, saying you stay safe out there. And we will see you next time on Dash 28 Live. Goodbye, everybody.